Yeah, we're live.
I see this. Hi, everybody.
I've never understood the whole mammogram thing because they're taking your boob and they're squishing it, which is not healthy for you. That shit hurts. So if they can do brain scans without squishing your head, why can't they do a scan with your boob without squashing it? It makes no sense. Makes no sense, right?
Right?
They can scan your entire body to find things that are wrong with it, but they have to squish your boobs.
Yeah.
I mean, when they do
Tear up
scans
to your armpit.
When they do scans on a man's testicles, do they squish them?
No.
No. Stop squishing our breasticles, people. I have never understood that. You know what I mean? Ever.
Boy, I got you a chicken bacon ranch fucking sub. Eat it or don't.
I love you. Eat it or go hungry. I don't care. Hi, Wendy.
Well, you know.
I do
Seriously.
know. I do know because 10 years ago, that was my kid.
Oh.
10 years later, it's still my kid. So yes, I do know.
And hello, Wendy.
Oh, you changed your name again. Wendy's Kingdom and Emily's Corner. Very nice.
Cool.
Oh, and I subbed to Emily's channel, by the way. Because Emily has her own channel now. So I subbed to it. Did you see the video that Wendy and Emily did?
No. I've seen it, but I haven't seen it.
You it's so cute.
I've seen it, but I haven't watched it.
It's so cute.
How's that? Play on words.
Put it on your list of videos to watch because it's absolutely adorable.
Oh, look, we have a freeze warning again tonight.
I don't.
We had snow yesterday.
Okay, we don't need that kind of language on my live, okay?
Swearing, that's a swear word. Yes.
That's worse than swearing. Don't be fucking cussing on my channel.
Right.
Not allowed. The family channel. Very dysfunctional family.
Very dysfunctional.
Oh, that's so cute that she's going to do videos. Emily is adorable. She really is. Just make sure the safety settings are up on that it's for kids, you know. Which I'm sure Wendy's, very protective, so I'm sure she's going to have that covered.
Yeah.
You got this. No, Wendy's laughing because the UK's got warm weather.
Wendy?
Laugh it up, Britt.
It's actually not that bad. I mean, we were out and about. You heard me bitching about going to the doctor.
Yeah. No, not you, Tina.
So, yeah. You're the boy.
The look on your face like, oh, here we go again. Fuck.
So anyhow.
Too funny.
Right? I don't know. It's just insane.
Everything's insane. The world is a crazy place.
Isn't it, though?
Yeah, it is.
Shit.
Oh, Wendy, my channel is not child rated. I don't know. My channel's not really kid friendly,
Yeah, nope, neither's mine. Okay, mine's probably a little bit more so than yours.
Probably. Yeah, that's probably a good plan, Wendy. It's definitely an adult only channel, and I think I have it set for no kids. It has to be. Hi, TG. It has to be it has to be 18 or over for my channel. So yeah. Sorry. Well, my channel is a place for people to vent if they want to, or just relax and chill out and be themselves, so if I'm watching what I'm saying, I'm not enjoying myself. Which isn't to say I don't try and behave on other people's channel. Hi, Willow.
Oh, she's got her oxygen on. That is not very
You okay?
pleasant.
Yeah, just a rough breathing day.
That's right, TG. Expect the unexpected in my channel. That's right.
Yeah, like a willow with gas.
Well, at least it's going in and not coming out.
Well, if it goes in, it's got to come out somewhere. Hey, Scarlett. Hey, Wendy.
She's overrun with the pussycats. They're concerned about Mom today.
Yeah, anytime I have my oxygen on, they're glued to me. I got one here, and I got one here. And they both have been following me everywhere. I mean, if I go pee, I have a stampede.
Hi, Toad.
Hi, Toad.
Pun intended. So how are you girls?
I'm doing all right.
I'm bitching about having to have gone to the doctor today.
I had to go get lab work done Monday.
TG.
They're grasping at straws as to a diagnosis about my eye, to the point that the blood work was for tuberculosis, Lyme disease, and syphilis.
Wow, they're really reaching.
Wow, they're really stretching with syphilis, aren't they?
Yeah. The only result I haven't gotten back is the TB because they had to send it out. The other two came back negative, so we wait. I would think if I had tuberculosis, I'd be hacking up blood, though, and that doesn't happen, so.
Yeah.
Generally, TB is a skin test, and they did a magic bubble on your arm.
Actually, they have a blood test for that now. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they don't.
See, they can make progress with
thing.
They can make progress with that, but they still have to squish your boobs.
Really? Yeah.
Makes no sense. I'm telling you.
Yeah, just a little tug and a cough for dudes, but yeah, we have to put ours in a bench press. There's something wrong with that.
Yeah, it's in a vice grip.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, somebody who hated women invented that fucking thing, okay? Because that's more like a torture device from the medieval times. It's like a thumb screw for your boobs.
Yeah, stand up, put your arm up like this. Hold on, we're going to put a plate here. Don't move while we take a picture.
Yeah.
Don't breathe.
What I'm still able to understand. I mean, big women. Yeah, we can unroll it on the table, How does somebody with a little dinky, just basically a nipple and maybe a little, how do they get anything on the table? I've never understood that.
I don't know. Wendy, I'm telling you, you missed a spot under the faucet. Fix it. Oh, Toad had to eat at the kitchen table.
Ooh.
That is what the kitchen table is for, Just saying.
No, my kitchen table holds the TV.
Hi, Susie. No, it's not an auction.
Hey, Susie. Did you use a toothbrush, Wendy?
No, seriously, even my mom forgets sometimes when she goes to wipe off the kitchen faucet or the bathroom faucet, she forgets to get underneath it. So I used to mess with her all the time. I'd go in and check after she cleaned. I'd be like, Mom, you missed a spot. And she'd be like, where? I did not. I'm like, yes, you did. And she goes, no, I didn't. Where? And I'm like, well, if you think you didn't, I'm not going to tell you. And I'd walk away and she'd go in and re-clean the whole bathroom.
You're horrible.
I am. She made me clean toilets. Ew, when I was like 7. Ew. Nasty. Revenge is sweet, especially when it's cold.
Yeah, and that water's cold.
No gloves. No gloves. Comet and a cloth, okay? Not even a toilet scrubber. Oh no.
I know, I've done
Hi, Essie.
it.
She has a very messy toad.
Yeah, he needs a drop cloth when he eats.
Aren't toads kind of slimy? Don't they kind of leave a trail?
No, toads are dry. It's frogs that can be slimy.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah. Hi, Tim. Susie, how did your vaccination go? You got your second shot today. You okay? Type faster, Susie.
Her
There is
answer is
no
I
way
need
to-
to feed the hairy beasts.
Susie, that is no way to talk about Tony.
Yeah. Hey, South Carolina.
Fix my curtain rail, so he done something good. Well, that's good. I'm glad he earned his meal. Your legs
What
feel
the hell
like
is a
tree
curtain
stumps.
rail? Is
Curtain
that a
rod.
curtain rod?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why do your legs feel like tree stumps?
And how would you know? Oh, no. TG, she has dogs. She has 2 doggies. And a fiance named Tony. She's cold. Oh, they feel extra heavy.
Probably some edema. aka water trapped in the leg.
Well, it would have felt like that before the shot then. I mean, unless the shot is causing it. I know when I get fluid retention, I feel like that. Everything feels heavier.
Yeah. Prop them up so that the water can run back towards your trunk, and then your body will process it out.
Toad got a gold star. Yay!
Ooh, where'd you stick it?
I don't know. Wendy, where did you put his gold
now
star?
wearing a pasty?
With a tassel.
Now I want pictures.
Look at TG. She's laughing so hard.
Video or it didn't happen.
On his willy.
I don't want pictures of that.
Me neither.
Oh, well, at least your arm doesn't hurt and you're less tired. You'll be all right, Susie.
See, Scarlett, usually I'm the one that does this.
V8 moment.
Y'all know that everybody does the face palm thing in my chats, okay? They're like, oh, not this again, Cody. Welcome to my chat,
Or the eye roll.
South Carolina sports guy. You just never know.
Ain't that the truth?
He hasn't commented lately. I think maybe he got scared off.
Well, I mean, he goes into Victoria's chats. Although I behave better in there. A little bit better.
Yep. Still lurking.
Right up that early, so Victoria's chats are.
Bye, Susie. I hope you feel better.
Yeah.
Yes, we are. We are crazy. That's what makes it fun.
Fuck yeah. What'd you miss to not know that?
I know it is, Stacy. You always said the same thing when you come in. Hello, nice people. I know that's you.
It's me, Cody. Eagle heart.
Mm-hmm. Eagle Heart Sales.
Oh, okay.
Stacy. It's Stacy. He's very sweet.
And he doesn't scare off that easy yet.
Wendy, you are not normal.
No, you are not normal, sex swing girl. Okay, you are so not normal.
Yeah, normal's a state of mind.
And Wendy, if you want to come yell at me for that, you gotta.
Normal is also a city in Illinois, and believe me, it's not normal.
And Wendy, if you want to come in and deny the sex swing thing, you got to click the link I sent you and get your butt in here. I ain't scared. I'm scared.
While he's typing that, hiding under the tablecloth in the dining room, something.
Nah, he lives in South Carolina. Ain't nothing gonna scare you after you live here, because it's a very crazy state.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Swing.
Stash.
Hey, Stash.
Hey, Stash.
Hey, Stash.
Welcome to the party.
Excuse me while I go grab something from the kitchen.
TG, really? Is my name Victoria or Larry? Uh-uh. Of course we could talk about toys, Wendy. What kind did you get?
Inquiring minds want to know.
No, I remember that's when I told her, just pick a different subject if you don't want to talk about this. And she was like, well, fine, can we talk about toys or something? And I just went, absolutely. Hi, Ted.
Hey, Ted.
Well, of course you do.
Yeah, kind of sort of forgot that there was different kinds of toys.
Yeah, she
Some
did.
of those toys were right in the category she was trying to get out of.
She was trying to get me to stop talking about sex swings and lubrication and things like that. That live on her channel has been set as private now. Nobody can see it.
Yeah, I think I got one of them on there now too.
I love you too, TG. Toad won't buy you no toys. Toad and I need to have a talk. He's so vanilla.
Whooping, man.
So vanilla.
Get your head out of your ass, Toad. Girls
Well, that
like
would
this
explain
too.
why he doesn't need any toys.
Yeah, really. But if his head's up his own ass, then she's definitely gonna need him.
True. Very true.
Because his bits, would be,
Covered.
off duty.
Talk about your massive cock block. I am not a bad influence. I am an awesome influence. If Toad listens to me for change, your sex life will be amazing. Okay?
Yep, he learned something new.
A lot of things new. I do sexual counseling. It's $150 an hour. I would charge more, but I don't have a degree, so I can't. Oh, edible body paint would be good too. And see how artistic Toad can be. We're taking art class today, Toad.
Yep, and his little toady tongue should be able to work that right back over there and clean you all up all nice and clean when it's done.
Nobody has to know who's not doing it. Right? Toad is never going to let her come visit me. Okay? If they ever get to America, she's going to be like, let's go see Cody. He's going to be all hell no.
It sounds like the only kind of vibrator that Toad needs is to jump up and down. Not much else is going to work. His head's up his ass, so. Hey, Timmy.
Sometimes.
Roof, roof.
Yeah. No effect, none whatsoever. Although Victoria did get her attention this morning because she squeaked like a dog toy, a little squeaky toys, and my dog was like, "What?" I'm like, "Oh."
I got a bag of squeakers around here somewhere. I could just like load them up on all of my fingers. And
I am a good girl. I'm a very good girl. When I'm bad, I'm better, though.
Pretty big horns holding up that halo.
I'm not evil, though. I'm not evil, though.
No.
I'm a little wicked.
Them's armory horns.
Hey, I know what I like. You know,
No, Wendy, she's not good. She's really good.
So when you come visit me, you'll find out how good I am. Mm-hmm. That's the other reason Toad won't let her come see me. He'd lose his girlfriend.
Oh. What? Yes, I sat forward. That's all I did.
That's so funny. Willow, I'm sorry. It looks like you're talking to your own twat. Okay.
Well, I'm talking to a cat on the floor in front. But if I want to talk to my pussy, I'll talk to my fucking pussy. You just have to live with it. There's my pussy.
I'll be all right. Oh, it's no wonder people talk about me. I'm a very bad influence.
I don't know if people talk about you or not. They probably do. But I really
in a very good way. Hell, I don't care. People can talk.
Me neither.
People want to know things about me. All they have to do is ask.
Stresses me out regularly, Wendy.
And if anybody ever hears anything like, hey, I heard Kodi said, you come to me and you ask me, because if I said it, I'll own it. If I didn't, I'll tell them, I don't know who told you that, but go back to them and tell them to fuck off, because no, I didn't.
Exactly.
But if I say it,
That's
I'll own
the
it.
problem. So many people will talk about you, but they won't talk to you.
Yep.
To me, that is the mark of a coward. I'll be right back. I gotta grab another bottle of water.
Well, okay.
I guess I could take y'all along. See if I can do this and not trip over my hose.
I was gonna say, don't trip over your oxygen line. Marty is sitting in the water bowl.
50, let's say it's either 40 or 50 feet. I can't remember how many extensions I put on it now.
Marty is sitting in the water bowl. I think that's a hint.
Pain in the ass hauling this hose around.
Wendy, you're such a tease.
Oh, a little teasing ain't so bad every now and again.
Nope. It's good. It's a good thing.
It's just my hose, Sable.
Hey, Tina.
She's looking up like, yeah, what the fuck was that?
Phenomena.
Do-do-do-do.
Get it in again.
And now Tim from the other room goes, phenomena.
That's so funny.
Ew, up, ew. Trying to hold on to water. Flick my hose.
I still can't believe I saw that on one of the late night shows, because we do that. I do that all the time. And it was actually. Well, you should shave it, TG.
Well, see, you touched it under control, girl.
Bikini wax there, Scarlett.
Ooh, ow. Rip.
Yeah, I wouldn't broadcast that unless it's kind of thing.
This is not the 70s, man.
Yeah, really. There's a lot of hair going on in the 70s.
Yeah, everywhere.
In the 80s, for that matter.
They teased their hair, and then it all like stuck out everywhere, and the other hair matched.
I'm flicking it, Scarlett. Flicking my hose.
Was it good for you?
Oh yeah, it was great.
Uh,
Why I carry a loop?
Did we lose Stash?
Why I have a loop?
He might have been afraid. Like, oh my God, what is going on in here? Never know. And
I
we
did.
never
I
know
made a
who we're
loop.
offend.
I don't fucking hang myself. Because
Always
it's hanging down like this. It's always pulling.
I mean, we never know who we're going to offend with talk like that. But you know, and it's my channel. Hello, expect it.
Always lose the guys. Always.
Either that, or they just sit there fascinated, like they're not used to
They're
being
like,
women
what
around them.
the fuck are these crazy fat women doing?
Well, I mean, a lot of women won't talk openly about sex or things that they like or things that they don't like, things that piss them off, or whatever. They're not open. They don't have open communication when it comes to anything sexual. So when they find people that are, they're like, you know.
Yeah. I have always said you could paste my sex life on a billboard by the highway, but it's my spiritualism that I don't share.
I always share that too if people ask.
If people ask, I'll share to a degree, but you know, my soul's path is its own, and I don't share.
Well, I mean, in the sense that if somebody's inquiring about it in general, you know what I mean, like what it's about,
what my beliefs are. Yeah, I don't have a problem sharing that.
Yeah, because education
my
is
soul
important.
Path, that I don't share.
Yeah, I mean, education is important in any form. So, for people that are curious about a different religion or spiritual avenue, it's good to educate them because ignorance breeds fear, and fear breeds hatred, and then hatred brings innocent people getting hung and burned on a cross and crap like that. No, it's not. It escalates.
No, I don't
quickly.
mean sharing. If it wasn't for people sharing, I wouldn't be where I'm at now spiritually.
Yeah.
Because the paths that I took as a youth and a young adult were dead end streets.
Yeah.
With creepy shit at the other end. So
I grew up on a dead end street.
We used to have a dead end street. Well, the street's still there, but the resident that used to live at the end of it isn't there anymore because they passed. But their name was Fred E. Krueger.
That's funny. Well, I didn't live on the end of it.
I accidentally went down that dead end street when we were out cruising, like on a weekend, me and my friends, and we were like, "Holy fuck!" Didn't know it was there.
I would have stole his mailbox. But no, I lived on a dead end street, but I wasn't all the way at the end. I was like 2 houses from like where the circle was.
Yeah.
But we did have a child molester that lived in my street, and he actually groomed the kid that lived at the very end of the street. He groomed him, and the guy ended up going to jail, and that family moved away because they didn't want him getting made fun of or teased or bothered about anything that happened. So I felt really bad for him. I really did, even as a kid, because we were like, I think 8 or 9, 7, 8, 9, 10, something like that, in that age bracket when that happened. And I was just like, why would he do that? Why would he do that to my friend? And I wasn't supposed to know about it, but I eavesdropped on the adults because I'm nosy like that. Cat, stop it. Timmy, get the kitty.
Well, it's kind of good that you did find out, because then you knew to stay the fuck away.
Well, he was already in jail when I found out.
Oh.
Cat. What?
Yeah, but just in case,
Good girl, Timmy. Dog had to regulate the cat. Yeah, I mean, we saw all the police cars down there, and we were all like, what's going on? All the kids are fascinated because there's police cars, and there were never police cars on my street, ever.
Yeah.
And, we only had like 5 police cars in the whole damn town, so it was like very unusual. And there were like 3 of them on our street, so It was, the rest of the town was open for whatever. But then my mom and the people across the street were talking, and it was like, go up to your room. And I'm like, ugh. So I went up to my room and I closed the door loudly, like pouting or whatever, but I closed it with me on the outside of it. And listened at the top of the stairs. So my street too. No, I didn't, Wendy. Still can't get through to customer service. Although I was able to do my Walmart order, which was $95. So that went through. I was able to pay for my StreamYard, which is why I'm able to do lives again. And I'm able to pay that money that was lent to me for groceries when I couldn't access my card at all. So it's like partially sorted and partially not. Oh, you're working on cards. Wow. What kind of cards? We didn't lose Stash.
Sports cards or postcards?
Yeah, what kind of cards?
I'm glad we didn't lose you, Stash.
We're waiting on bated breath. What kind of cards, Stash?
Type faster.
But
Stash.
anybody else see all this bullshit about some kind of garbage going around on TikTok about the 24th being a rape day?
A what day?
Rape. Somebody
No.
constituting a rape day on the
that's-
24th, and they've been promoting it on the TikTok.
Oh, what day?
Rape.
Rape.
Oh my God.
That's
Seriously?
disgusting.
Whether they're young or female or male, doesn't matter. I'm like, what the kind of fuck is this?
Well, my gun will be loaded. I don't know about y'all.
They shouldn't even be allowed on TikTok.
Exactly.
They should have gotten banned from that immediately. And
TikTok is a short video.
yeah,
social
they
media
do.
venue.
Yeah, they do shorts.
Wendy heard about it.
Well, all the people that are posting about that should be under legal investigation, criminal
A lot of
investigation.
people are sharing not the actual video, but sharing warnings about it. To watch out, watch yourselves, etc. Warning women and stuff, and and if you've got small children, because they was even talking about kids.
Somebody's got some serious problems, and they should definitely be under criminal investigation. That's disgusting.
24th, you say?
Yeah, of this month, the 24th. So like what, Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday.
I was sorting out the day of the week so I would know whether to put Sis on guard at work. Because she gets off at 11 at night in a building alone by herself from like 6 on, cleaning the building.
Yeah.
That they leave unlocked. Security goes by maybe once during her shift. And as of late, security has been like, first floor, leave. And there's like 4 floors.
Wow.
And she cleans the top 2.
I mean, that's wrong at every level. You know what I mean?
It is.
And do you think that they would amp up security for something like that? No. No, when they were doing, what is it, protests, I guess they call them.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. Yeah, they don't even amp up security. They're all sitting at the security office eating donuts. You would think that locking buildings at night would be security's job. No, they make the housekeepers do it.
Are you kidding me?
The housekeepers also have to do the groundskeeper's job of dropping down salt and shoveling snow because the groundskeepers don't want to do it. So the housekeepers, it's all dumped on them.
No, that's right.
Simi, stop it.
Yeah, there's something very, very wrong with this university.
My friend Rebecca does security at a college. She's basically the supervisor of all the security guards at the college. So she goes on TikTok a lot. So she might already know, but I'm gonna let her know so she can have her guards keep an eye out. You know, because that's a whole lot of wrong right there.
Yeah, I've never been there, Wendy. I've never been there.
I mean, I've watched a TikTok video, but I'm not signed up on TikTok, and I don't go to TikTok. I only watched the video because I think it was Tina actually that sent it to me. No, Amy.
I see videos, but I'm not signed up for TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as I know, I've never even been there to watch a video.
No.
You know, the only reason I know it exists is because people talk about it, and they've like done commercials with reference to that kind of thing in it, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But yeah, otherwise, I'm not a videographer. I accidentally videoed Gar running in the river one day because I hit the wrong button on my phone. But I didn't even know that I had made a video until like a week later. And then I was like, what's that in my phone? Went and looked and I was like, oh, that's the Gar. How did I do that? So I honestly don't even know how to do a video on my phone. It was accidental.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been raped 4 times, so this is not something that's amusing to me in any way, shape, or form. That's a horrible thing to try and promote.
I've not been raped, but I have been sexually assaulted. So I get it.
They're rooming up and down the street again.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they are.
People or critters?
People. Dirt bike.
Oh.
Good night, TG. Sweet dreams.
Night, TG.
And here he comes again. Oh, no,
Night,
he went down.
TG.
He went down on the street behind me. Well, what?
Yeah, well, what?
I talk fast. You had to be specific.
Well, and then lag.
Yeah.
You know, when it shows up there, we're already off on something else. And then we're like, what were we talking about before? I don't know. Bush brain.
But I agree. Wow.
But yeah, I've been seeing posts about it on.
She was saying wow about me being raped 4 times. Thank you, TG. But I worked through it. It's all right. All right.
She's a strong woman.
Yep. It is. Sexual assault is a horrible thing. And it's ironic that it's called sexual assault, but it's not really about sex at all. It's about power and control.
Yeah.
So. Don't you start. Onyx.
Yeah, it's all just trying to assert power. And they seem to think that doing that is powerful.
Yeah.
To me personally, anybody that does that, rooster, hen, 1 shot, boom. Don't have to worry about it no more.
Oh, I so need a paintball gun.
Huh?
I need a paintball gun. But bright neon pink paintballs.
Yep.
With very strong permanent ink.
Oh, Wendy, I'm sorry. Funerals suck. I don't
Oh,
like
I'm
funerals.
sorry, Wendy. Hello, Timmy.
Looked at by the Sim.
Timmy. Timmy girl. She's like, fuck you, lady. I am busy.
She wants her dinner. So she's looking at me like, she's like, hello, there's no food on the floor for me. What are you doing? And she's looking because sometimes my son will get her food.
Yeah.
So she.
Quad runner?
Goodness,
It's a dirt bike.
Wendy.
It's a dirt
That's
bike.
cool.
But sometimes she'll, when she hears my son walking around, she'll keep looking that way. thinking that he's going to come in and get her food, but he's not. He hasn't even brought water in for them yet. Hopefully he sees my message that they need water. But I'm going to shut my camera off so I can get her food.
Okay. Yes, definite prayers, Wendy.
Yeah.
He was far too young.
Fuck, whose idea was it to put the dog food on the other side of the bed?
Yours.
Nobody asked you, Mom.
I didn't say a word.
Now you got to see how good my dog is trained. I know you guys.
Well, I'm
You two go
speaking
see.
very, very, very loudly. That's that.
Okay. You see how she's sitting like a
Hi,
good girl.
Gigi.
She sits like a good girl. I gotta use the grabber to put her food down.
You think so, huh? Huh?
Go.
I'm getting to talking to you. I stood up.
Shit, good girl. Now she's gonna crunch really loudly, so that's what you're hearing.
Rotten. He dragged my happy ass to the
Your
doctor.
fuel mix is too dark. Stop it. Fix your fuel mix, dumbass. This thing sounds like shit. Sorry.
Sounds like a big raspberry, actually.
The fuel mix is too rich. I was wrong. It's not a dirt bike. I just saw it go down the street. It's a freaking crotch rocket. It should not sound like that. That bike definitely needs to be worked on.
Yep.
And they need to get it away from my house because they're lucky I can't get out on my porch.
We're waiting to hear back from the endocrinologist, Wendy, and go from there. The doctor prescribed him some new medicine for headaches, so he's going to be on Topomax for headaches just like me. It's an awesome thing.
Is he an earshot?
No, he's not.
So does he already have the meds for the headache? Hi, Casual.
Hey, Casual.
Did he already pick up the meds for headaches?
No, they're not in yet.
Oh. They need to hurry up.
Hang on and ask if you can hear it or not. I don't know whether or not I have to mute.
Yeah, that's really loud.
Yeah, isn't it? I'll mute.
Yeah. Just for you, Casual, because I know you like to yell at me for my smoking.
At least I'm eating, salad.
Yeah, you're eating salad after you ate a sub.
No, I haven't had a sub yet.
But you're going to.
Probably have later, yeah.
Mm. That's her breathing treatment equipment. Oh, the crunching would be my dog. I'm not sure which noise you were talking about. Yeah, there it is, the cigarette. If you can still hear the noise, that would be my dog eating her dinner because she crunches really loud. And if the cats get too close to her, you'll hear her going, sounding like a damn Wolverine. She's like, but, a lot of things have been reminding me about childhood stuff. Or stuff that happened when I was younger. Things like that. emotions that I was feeling when they happened, you know. Tina, you're not allowed to put yourself on mute too. I'm sitting here talking to myself now. Stop it.
I was yelling.
So?
He says he loves you back, Wendy.
And there was one thing I still couldn't figure out. Twice in my life. No, wait a minute. Oh. Sorry. I was reading what Stash put. So yes, they were sports cards. And he apparently has no input on vibrators or dildos or anything. Yeah, well, one of the things was that twice in my life I've been in a relationship where the person didn't want anybody to know that they were in a relationship with me. The first time I walked into it knowing that was going to happen because they had a girlfriend at the time. Yes, it was the other woman. I was 13. Leave me alone. He was my very first love. And the second time was when I was pregnant with my daughter, my oldest daughter. And bye, Stacy. Have a good night.
See you later, honey.
The one when I was pregnant. From the auction the other day. Are you talking to Stash, Casual?
Willow.
Willow. Okay. Anyway. You know, I was seeing him. Now, we met when my friend wanted me to go cruising downtown in Lowell, Massachusetts. And yeah, I know, Wendy. And we met during that time. And don't even ask me what his name is because I can't actually remember it. He was not that impressive, actually. I was just feeling really lonely because I was pregnant and the baby's father was not in the picture. So I was having emotional issues. But his friend showed up at his house one day, well, his mom's house. And mind you, I was 18 at the time. And his friend showed up and he was like, quick, get in the closet. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? He goes, well, I don't want my friends to see you. And I'm like, why? He goes, well, because they'll make fun of me for being with somebody your size, because I've always been large and I was pregnant. So there was more of me than there normally would have been. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what did you just say? And he was like, basically he didn't want his friends to know that he was dating a fat girl. And he goes, just hide in the closet. He goes, it'll be fine. And I'm like, and he goes running off to, go to the door to open it for his friends. And I'm standing there going, no, it is not going to be fine in any way, shape, or form. Is this going to be fine? And his friends walked in, and I'm still standing there, and the look on his face was horrified. He was like, oh, this is my friend. I was like, this was his girlfriend. Just so you know, he's been fucking a fat girl. But now all this awesomeness is no longer going to be touching his little deck, which he's not very good with. I'm leaving. I'm out. Bye. One of his friends followed me out to my car and was like, well, if you're not going to see him anymore, can I have your number? I was like, no. And I left. But having somebody not want to acknowledge you, especially after you've been like intimate with them, it's bad enough if you think you're friends with somebody and then all of a sudden they tell other people they don't know you. Or, whatever. But to be intimate with someone and then not even acknowledge knowing them or anything, or not even acknowledge that they're there. Like, he didn't even want my presence in the room. that leaves the person feeling totally disrespected and completely inadequate. And you sit there and you analyze what is wrong with me that they wouldn't want to admit to being with me. I had a lot of insecurities after that, a lot. And it took me a long time to get over them and realize that it was his problem, not mine. But yeah, that was, I mean, it's just so wrong to do that to somebody, especially when there's no reason for it, you know? And that's why I made sure if I started dating somebody that we went somewhere public and I would see how they acted in public. Because if they didn't come near me, touch me, even hold my hand, that was not going any further than that. See you later, bye. So, oh, thank you, Cash.
Well,
Lots of hearts.
The very first kid that asked me to go steady with him, it lasted less than a week, and it was done on a bet by his buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah, he never lived that down. And no pranks like that were ever pulled on me again after the revenge that I issued upon him.
Well, I didn't get any revenge on him. I figured he had a tiny dick and didn't know how to use it. I didn't need to get any revenge on him. This was already done, you know. Like,
I would say the revenge was already there. It was right there. Karma was served in the moment.
It was like,
well, I didn't
karma
sleep with this dude, so yeah, he needed revenge. Trust me. Apparently, that was part of the bet, was to see how far he could get with me.
Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah, I knew before.
I hate that shit. One of the football players, a few of the football players tried that. Like, they told one of the football players to, hey, go try and hook up with her, see how far you can get. And I mean, these are people that made fun of me my entire school life. So to have one of them all of a sudden act like they were interested, yeah, that's not a huge red flag, you know.
Well, this was high school, and I didn't know him or anything, so
yeah.
You know, but he was on the wrestling team.
Yeah. I mean, and I know that in high school people are stupid. You know what I mean? Kids are stupid. We make bad decisions. We do things that could be hurtful to other people. We don't realize what the repercussions will be later in their life. I mean, I'm sure that he wouldn't have even thought that this would be bothering me this far. I mean, I'm 52, for God's sakes. That happened when I was 18. And,
I still have scars, girl. I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, some things that you never forget. You know, you might emotionally get to a better place with it, but it flashes back. It's called PTSD. Yeah. And things from your childhood often leave behind PTSD. And you can say that you're over them. You can say that you've gotten past it, blah, 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 blah. But shit happens that flashes that stuff back. It doesn't go away.
No.
You know,
Wendy, whatever path it took you, Wendy, to get with Toad, I'm glad that you guys found each other.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's not saying that somebody who actually will admit to, you know, being with me is going to work out, because obviously I'm single. So no, it didn't work out. But at least the people that I did pick were not afraid to show me affection in public, you know? I mean, hell, when John and I hooked up, I couldn't get his hands off my ass. We'd be walking through Walmart and his hand would be on my ass. I'm like, your hand's on my ass. He's like, I know, I like your ass. I'm like, okay. You know? And I mean, my husband was the same way. He was very physically affectionate in public, which I full out loved, because, you know, so many people don't want to do anything in any kind of physical way. I mean, even to the point of holding hands, you know? So
yeah, been there, done that.
But
you're supposed to be invisibly, quote unquote, on their arm.
Yeah.
But no signs or showing of any type of affection that would mark you as theirs.
Right.
It's like the fat chick plague.
I love you too, Wendy. Yeah,
it's done that.
They're fully appreciative of all the talents and stuff in private, but they don't want anybody to know that they're getting any of those benefits when they're in public. And it's like, if you're not saying loud and proud that you're with me, you are not going to be with me. Sorry.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I had to come up with a strategy in order to weed the people, because a lot of men, and I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of men think that larger women are so desperate for affection because we're bigger and we don't get that they can take advantage of that. I mean, I literally had someone once tell me that they wanted to hook up with me because I was fat and they knew I didn't get a lot of sex, so they knew they'd get lucky. I'm like, you should probably not buy any lottery tickets because it's not your lucky day. And I walked away.
Yeah. I've had that same shit too.
Hey, what's up, bad bitch?
Hey.
It's my ninja. Ninja Bear. Oh, by the way,
Chick Ninja.
her avatar on Facebook. I am Ninja.
It's our badass hotness. So I mean, when you're a kid, it's one thing, you know what I mean? But it happens to people when they're adults too, you know.
If you're fat, it happens your entire life.
But I mean, it doesn't just happen to large people.
I know, but if you're fat, it's guaranteed to happen.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there are people that I can't even imagine.
A big bullet.
There are people
thing on your back. Bullseye. There we go.
Yeah, there are people that I couldn't even imagine. I mean, someone not wanting to claim that they even know, or that they've been with, or that whatever the connection is. I mean, even just, meeting somebody or running into them, like, hey, aren't you? Da, 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 but they'll deny it to the hilt, and it's like, why? There's no point in that. What is the problem? It does happen to everyone, Amy. Exactly, and I don't understand why people do that. Why would you not even admit to knowing somebody or to being with them if you want to be with them, or you want? It makes absolutely no sense, and it's a horrible thing to do to somebody. It's a huge disrespect.
It's all about ego. They're too fucking narcissistic to just keep it real.
It's huge disrespect. It's dishonorable, and it makes whoever that is, and it happens to guys too. I'm not saying it's exclusive to women. It does happen to guys, and it makes, whether that person is male or female, whoever does that to somebody, it makes them a huge piece of shit.
I can't imagine.
Big old demon maggot covered pile of shit.
That's right.
I can't imagine somebody doing that. It's like, well, I'm gonna go and meet you. Whether it's a dating site or the friend of a friend. It's whatever. They finally decide they're gonna see each other. They've been talking a hot while, and then they play like, nope, never met them.
Yeah,
we talk. I know who they are, but no, I ain't never met them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes no sense to me, none whatsoever.
What kind of
I've had that experience. Somebody that I'd known online for years, and emotions rose, and we decided to meet, and blah blah blah, and we actually got engaged. And literally, the minute we got engaged, the minute that I said yes, I will marry you, he turned into a fucking dictator. He wasn't even smart enough to wait till he had the papers, and he turned into a fucking dictator. And I couldn't kick him to the curb and ship him back to California fast enough.
Well, when I was in the AOL chat room, and people would be like, hey, you don't live that far from me. Why don't you come? We'll meet up. And it wasn't even a romantic thing. It was just, you don't live too far from me. We can hook up and hang out. And people knew about it because they did it in the chat room, and made arrangements and blah blah blah, and finalized. One would go to the other, and then they'd go back home or whatever, and we'd be like, hey, well, how was it, the meeting? And all of a sudden one of them would be like, I didn't meet them.
Yeah, we used to do that with the Yahoo chat groups.
And it's like, what are you talking about? You made the plans in the chat room, and the other person would be like, yeah, we did. What are you talking about? And that person would feel horrible to deny that you even, there's absolutely no reason for it. That people that get along.
You can't deny it when it was a public thing. It was all totally discussed and made public and everything. And that's what happened with mine in regards to, we had even gone back on when he was there at the house, went back on to the site that we were going to. It was a gaming site, actually, called pogo.com, which now is a subsidiary of EA.com. But, I used to have an account there, a paid account for years, for like 15 years. he's the one that turned ass hat, but then he was the one that was hurt. Oh, you hurt me bad. And I'm like, seriously, dude?
Yeah.
You know?
It's just not necessary. I mean, whether it's a romantic meeting or whether it's, casual, like you just know each other and you want to, hi, hotness.
Hi. Yeah, I did a friendship meeting as well. And yeah, they were assholes, just grade A #1 assholes.
Yeah.
And they were a couple that had met in the same venue and had married and were happily married. But then they came by to visit when they were traveling. And yeah, they were total assholes. Absolute assholes.
I mean, I've met people from my AOL chat room. I met 3, 4 of them, something like that, and only one of them was horrible. But we lost Tina. Only one of them was horrible.
Tina,
and that's
come back! I love you. Come back.
I know, right?
Probably just fell out.
But I mean,
from like phone to computer or vice versa, who knows?
Yeah, her internet's been wonky today too.
Well, that's because we have like that coming through. So
March through May is sunspots. You get sunspots, and if you're using satellite, yeah, you'll just disappear.
But I mean, there's no reason to deny even meeting somebody. I mean, you don't need details about what you did. Just why deny even meeting someone? It's ridiculous, It's
pathetic, is what it is.
You said something about internet dating, right? Did I hear that right earlier?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like walking through the kitchen and everybody was talking, so I was like, I could half hear what you guys were talking about.
Yeah,
internet dating it's scary, it's crazy, and it's just a hookup. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's not dating. It's like, I need to get laid, come over type thing.
Yeah.
If that's
mine wasn't that, but yeah, he turned dictator the minute I said that I would marry him, and I'm not gonna have a dictator. No.
I mean,
you don't try to dictate to an alpha female.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
good luck with that.
And the only place I'll ever be submissive is in bed. So if they want me to be submissive anywhere else, they're shit out of luck.
All I know is my shoe print on his ass when he landed in California.
I mean, it's not even just internet dating, Amy. It's just when people that have been talking online for a while, they, one will travel to go meet the other, and then someone denies knowing them for no reason.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I didn't meet that person. They never came here.
Like friendship.
It's
not even romance. It's just friendship, and they go into the whole narcissistic denial mode when the whole thing was public to begin with. They end up looking like a fucking asshat, but hey, that's on them.
Yeah, some people don't care though. I mean, that's not just guys. That's not just guys. That's girls too.
Yeah, I said that. I said this wasn't an exclusive guy bashing thing. It's anybody that does this to somebody else is
guy bashing on my part because I'm straight, and that's what usually showed up. And yeah, so
I mean, if a guy goes to meet a girl and the girl denies meeting them, it's the same thing. It's dishonorable, it's dishonest, and it's disrespectful.
It's very rude.
It is very rude, and it leaves the person that like made the effort to go see somebody. It leaves them going, well, is there something wrong with me? And they get insecurities and they start questioning themselves when it's not them, it's the other person's problem. And
90% of people already have enough insecurities about themselves. They don't need some dude or some chick to add to it.
Right?
No, they sure don't.
Because I mean, I don't know if you heard it. I was okay, Tim. Thank you.
Oh, okay, Tim. Love you, Tim.
I told you it's their internet. I knew people in my AOL chat room that live near each other, and they said, "Hey, we should hook up and not hook up, but we should meet up and hang out or whatever." And then the person would go back home, and the other person would deny that they were ever there. And the person that goes back home is like, "What are you talking about? I was there for like a day and a half," and they don't understand why this person is denying that they were ever there. It just made no sense.
Yeah.
And mine was a relationship that the guy tried to deny that he knew me.
It's like, if I fucking fed you people, yeah, I met you.
Yeah,
for the goddamn mail, I cooked it.
So it's not always, it doesn't always have to be a romantic thing, and it doesn't always have to be something that everybody knows about. But if somebody asks about it, like, hey, I heard you met so and so, You know, like, hey, I heard you met, like, if I went somewhere, laughable, right?
Well,
But
if you plan it on a goddamn public venue,
yeah, but I'm talking
then
about if
turn
you
around
don't.
and try to deny it.
But I'm talking about if you don't. If you don't plan it in public,
Yeah.
you can, you know, and somebody just randomly inquires, hey, I heard you met Kodi. And that person's like, I didn't meet Kodi. I'd be sitting there going, excuse me, bitch said what? You know,
exactly.
I would be, you know, I mean,
I don't know about you, but I'm usually excited if I meet like
yeah.
You hear
so
Darth Vader?
I don't like meeting anybody new. To be honest, I don't like it. It freaks me out. It makes my anxiety go crazy. And I just don't like it. But you know, after being around, like when I went to meet Leanne, I was scared shitless. And it's Leanne. I've talked to the girl for like a year on, you know, on lives in the back, FaceTime, phone calls, like all different ways. And the girl knows a lot of shit about me. But going to her house, I'm like, oh my God, what if this and what if, and it was all my own self insecurities coming out is what it was. But it was fine. Like it was like we've known each other forever. We've been friends for years, you know, like no big deal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like if you came down here, which you're supposed to do soon,
I know. I know.
Y'all hear Darth Vader?
No. If you when you come here, I won't say if, I said when. I'll be all like, hey, I met Amy, and you guys did neater. You know what I mean? Okay, like, I met Amy, and I give her a big old squishy bear hug, and things are awesome. Amy is awesome.
Do you hear that?
No. I'd be screaming that to the fucking mountains, man. I'd be all happy that I got to meet you.
Oh, weird. That's even louder than my nebulizer.
So, I mean, you know, if you're going to deny meeting me, then don't bother coming to see me. You know what I mean? It's just,
yeah, I see that.
you know,
The thing is though, when stuff like that happens to people, they learn a lesson.
Yeah, and it
might not be a lesson they wanted to, but they learn a lesson.
But it makes them not want to go meet people, and that's a shame. You know what I mean? Especially if, like you said, you don't like to meet people. So if someone does that to you, you're not going to want to meet anybody.
Right.
And that would be sad. That would make me sad.
I'm just very picky about who, like, I don't want to offend anybody because it's not, there's a lot of people on here that I really do like, and I love hanging out with them. I love talking to them, but everybody lives so freaking far away from me.
This is true. It is.
Like, to get to you from here, it would take me, hold on, I gotta do math. Like, almost 15 hours.
Yeah.
And that's like not stopping at all.
You would definitely have to stop somewhere and get some rest. Because I've driven 18 hours when I went up to Massachusetts. It takes 18 hours to get from, well, it took me 18 hours. I don't know how long it's supposed to take, but I didn't sleep and I was a zombie when I got there. It was horrible. I actually did sleep for like an hour or two. I had to pull over into a rest area because I was falling asleep driving, and I had my kids in the car. So, so I pulled over and I grabbed a couple hours of sleep. They were already asleep. That's probably what made me fall asleep, as it got quiet. You know?
On our way back from Florida, it takes like I don't know how long it takes. Honestly, it felt like it took forever, but it takes like 17, 18 hours, something like that, from here to where we go to Florida. And on the way there, I'm like, oh, I'm going to stay awake. I'm going to, because it was all new to me. I'd never been that far away. Yeah, I didn't make it 8 hours away and I was out. But on the way back, everybody else, since we left late, we left early, but 17 hours. By the time we were getting close to home, it was dark. All the kids fell asleep. My mom takes a motion sickness medication and it knocks her out. So it's me and my dad, and I'm not driving. There's no way I'm driving that far. They're driving like an expedition. There's no way. I'm too small for that big ass thing. And I'm like, so Dad, how about this musician and that musician? And then I start talking about wrestling, and anything I could think of to keep myself awake and him awake.
I drove a Dodge Durango, a 99 Dodge Durango. Get his back for all the way across the country. I drove it from California to South Carolina.
Welcome back today.
Towing a U-Haul trailer. And I didn't crash it once. See, I ended up denting that damn truck in my own driveway because we had a crap ton of rain and I had a dirt driveway and I went to back up and it was on a hill. My driveway was like this. I went to back the truck out and the truck slid right into my chain link fence, into the pole. And I'm like, crap. So it wasn't my truck though, so you know. It was
Sister was learning how to drive in her 20s. And Dad let her drive his work van, which was a Ford van, full size, home from the business one evening. And she took the driveway too fast, hit the chain link fence, took the top pole of the chain link fence, ran it through the radiator, through the battery, and into the driver's side of the vehicle where she was sitting. It missed her by less than half an inch.
Holy shit.
And then she stopped like a millimeter from a window air conditioning unit. She pushed it in a bit. Yeah, she was like a millimeter from just chunking the thing into the house and taking it part of the wall. Dad never let her drive the van again.
I don't blame her.
I don't blame him.
And when I came of age and it was time to drive, he was not going to let me drive that van. And I was like, excuse me, but I am not the driver. Jennifer is.
Quit.
He had no choice. One day I had to drive. And of course, I drove it perfectly and legally. And he was like, I don't know why I didn't have you do it sooner. And I said, because you're chicken shit after Jennifer, which I can kind of get. But I would think you had bigger balls than that, Dad.
Well, before I got my own car, I was working and I had to get from our town to like 4 towns away. So I got to use my dad's car, which was a Chevy Nova. It was a 4-door Chevy Nova. Now I could have romped the crap out of that car, but I drove it good. I was, you know, dad's car, and Dad was a mechanic. He would have known if I drove it like I stole it. So I drove it like I was supposed to. And of course, in Massachusetts, snow. The snow was receding, but there was black ice on the edges of the road. So everybody was kind of driving far away from the edges. And we kind of slow down and let people pass because, you know, it's a polite thing to do. If something's coming at you and you're both in the middle of the road, somebody has to get out of the goddamn way.
Yeah.
While this car was coming barreling directly down the center of the road, I had to go off the edge of the road, hit black ice. The car spun like 3 times, and it ended up embedded in a snowbank. And my first thought was, my dad's going to kill me. Now, mind you, back then, no cell phones. And I'm in the middle of nowhere. There's no stores. There's no nothing. It's like 7 o'clock at night. So everything that would have been around is closed. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh my God. And this creepy guy comes over and he's like, do you need any help? Because I got out to see if there was a shovel in the trunk. And this pickup truck stops and I'm like, and the guy looked like Lurch. Okay. I was like, no, I'm good. Got back in the car and locked the doors. And he went over and grabbed a shovel out of the back of his truck. I had already told him no. And I'm like, this guy's going to hit me in the head with a shovel and drag my dead body off, you know?
Yeah, your mind's going, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, shit, I'm going to die. And just then a police cruiser pulls up. And I'm like, oh, never been so happy to see a cop in my life, right? Cop gets out and he's
so cops aren't that exciting to me.
This cop must have been 6'5". He was massive. I was like, he towered over Lurch. And Lurch was halfway across the street with the shovel, and he didn't even say anything. He turned around, threw the shovel in the back of his truck, and he left, which tells me he was definitely up to no good.
Yeah.
And the cop comes over, and he knocks on my door, on the window, and I roll the window down, and I look, and all I'm seeing is his belt buckle, and I'm like, because he's 6'4".
You're like rubbernecking out the door, you know. Like,
huge. And he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I am now. I'm like, could you call a tow truck for me? He's like, yeah, I'll get you one. He goes, I already have one coming. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, there was some kids down the road got run off the road, probably by the same person you did. He goes, but their car's fucked. And I'm like, oh, okay. So he also had the police station call my house, my parents, and my dad came out to get me because we didn't know if the car was drivable or not. And I guess the kids gave the tow truck company owner a rash of shit when he showed up. What happened is their car went off the road. They went over the embankment and hit a stone wall.
Oh.
And their car went kind of up and over the stone wall, and it tore their axle off their car.
Oh, shit.
So, yeah, like the cop said, their car was fucked. And so the kids were giving the tow truck guy a hard time. Now, he's busy. Yeah, there are a lot of people that are off the road and that he needs to go get.
Yeah.
And they're giving him a rap, and he was like, you know what, I'll be back. And he told his driver, don't touch their car yet. And he comes back, he comes up, he goes, okay. He goes, what do we got over here? And his driver had already looked at my dad's car, and the car was actually fine. It was still drivable. There was no damage to it whatsoever. I'm like, and my dad is like, well, how much are we going to owe you for hauling it out? He goes, don't even worry about it. I'm going to tack that cost onto these assholes down here. So he hauled the car out. They witched the car out and, made sure that it would start and that we were good to go. And yeah, we got to go home. But
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
thankfully, I never ate curb. I never, ate a snowdrift or anything like that.
Well, the moral of that story is don't piss off tow truck drivers.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Yeah.
I was bet. Somebody betted me to spin a car, in a straight line, like down a road. No curb touch, no nothing. Keep it clean, straight. Yeah. They said 3 spins. Okay. So I lined her up and set her up, and away we go. And 8 spins perfectly at the end of the block. Stopped in the exact same direction I started. And one of them had wet their pants. I'm like, well, you said to do at least 3. So I doubled that and then some.
Tina. I lost Tina again. Well, I had my Firebird. God, I loved that car. What the hell year was that? I think it was a 94. Somewhere between 90.
Ever had me do it again, make sure that he brought a diaper.
Somewhere between a 90 and a 94 Firebird. It was white and blue. And
Firebirds are cool.
At the time, the hell year was it? It was either 98 or 99, and I was with Michael, and this Camaro pulled up, and it was a newer Camaro. It was when the new style Camaros came out. They were trying to do the old Camaros.
The repop Camaro. Yeah.
The wannabe, I used to be a muscle car Camaro type of thing. And this guy, he's like revving his engine and, inching forward at the stoplight. And I'm looking at him. He goes, you want to go? You want to go? And Michael is like looking at me because he's in the passenger side because that man did not get to drive my car. And I'm looking at this guy and I was like, Michael, how well did you do the work on the car? He goes, oh, this car is mint. He's like, you're good to go. And I'm like, okay. So I was like, the guy was like, come on, bitch, you want a race? And I'm like, I'm like, and needless to say, he was still sitting at the stoplight and I was 3 stoplights down. And Michael was on the floorboards going, oh, fuck, we're going to die. And I slowed down because I proved my point, right? So I slowed down because I was coming up on a red light. That Camaro decided, since I was slowing down, that he'd blow me past me so he could boost his ego. Yeah, that wasn't the only reason I slowed down. A cop always sat up there because that's one of the places that people would below the light.
Yeah.
There was a cop there. And I stopped at the light, and the guys, and the cop, whoop, 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 all the way, pulled him over. I drove past him later. A few minutes later, stuck my head out the T-Roost and waved to him. Yeah. That's the car that Michael rigged to catch on fire. I loved that car. And I had really cool stickers on it.
It was like a Sunday morning kind of thing. ripping down Main Street, not downtown Main Street, but the main through town, which is actually Highway 50, but it's called 6th Avenue in the city limits. But anyways, he was just ripping down the road like 110 miles an hour. And we caught a cop and told him and gave him the tag because we were able to catch it and ID'd the car and what have you, and off he went. And at 12th and Prairie, which is another major crossroad, it was green light, so he was booking through and got hit full on T-boned by a Winnebago that was also speeding. So he ended up in the hospital, the poor guy, officer. Winnebago versus a cop car. We're not talking, a big vehicle here. We're talking the little cop cars of today. But it was a little bigger. I think it was like the newer LTDs or whatever's that they used back in the day, but it was smaller, more mid-size. It wasn't that full-grown thing they used to have.
Yeah.
But that cop car was shrapnel when they got done, and they had to extricate the officer.
That sucks.
And that says something because cop cars are usually reinforced, to take impact and stuff. And it was much. So that Winnebago, even reinforcement ain't gonna stop a Winnebago.
Nope. Well, I mean, I got asked if I would drive a race car here in South Carolina.
Yeah.
But my back can't handle it. You know what I mean? My back is too bad at this point for me to handle it. But
yeah. Me neither. I was asked to race a couple times. I was asked to do a demolition derby, and I was like, "Fuck no, I ain't stupid." But they just wanted me to drive their car, and I was like, "Fuck no." With my bones, even back when I was a teenager, I knew that my bones were no good, and you were not going to get me into a vehicle and get bashed around. No.
Yeah.
I would have loved to if I was physically able. I would have been all over it. But
well, I mean, because John talked to the people that own the race car, and him and his wife drive it. His wife mostly drives it, but John was telling him that any vehicle that he put me in, whether it was a standard or whether it was an automatic, I could drive it. Because I've driven everything from like the Firebird to a little tiny like Honda to a conversion van to a regular van to John said the next thing he was putting me in was a school bus because he wanted to see if I could drive that.
My oldest brother tried to get me to drive his rig. The lessons and the time and night that he got into town wasn't going to happen. He wanted to do it at night, though, because, no traffic. But, I'm fucking exhausted, dude. The last thing I want to do is learn how to drive another vehicle this time of night when I'm this exhausted. I'm like, toothpick waiting for you to get here, dude.
What was funny is that I had learned how to drive a standard, but I hadn't driven one in a really long time. And when we got it said minivan on it, but it wasn't. It was a full size van, and it was a standard. And I was like, I got it because it was in my price range, and I had no other options. I needed a vehicle, and I knew John could teach me how to get back into it. And so he took me out and he showed me, and then I got in the driver's seat and he walked me through it and I was able to do it. And the next day he's like, well, I want to go back to that parking lot and have us work on it again before you start driving in traffic. I'm like, okay. And he had been working, he had to replace the brake pads on the van. So he had been working on the van that day. And he had a few beers while he was working, just casual, whatever. Not you casually. And
relax.
So I left the house and realized that we'd forgotten something. He forgot his cigarettes or something. So we turned around, we went down the next street and came back, and we had to go up a hill on our street before we could get to where it was a one-way street. So we had to go that way. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden I step on the brake and the brakes aren't working. And I'm like, what the hell? And he goes, what? I'm like, we have no brakes. He's like, are you fucking serious? I'm like, yeah, I thought you worked on the brakes today. He goes, I did. He goes, I put them back. He goes, what the hell? And so I ended up being able to use the emergency brakes. We almost went over the edge of the street, which dropped down on one side, which would not have been good. But I managed to use the e-brake and get the damn thing over to the side. He gets up. He hadn't reattached them correctly. They were just hanging there. I'm like, you asshole. I'm like, you could have killed me. I'm like, I'm walking to the house now. Fix the van.
I had a Maverick that I drove from Nashville to Kansas with like 5% brake function. Yeah, that was a clusterfuck.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had a, the hell was it? I forget what kind of car it was. Obviously, the car didn't really mean too much to me. I can't remember what it was. But I lived in Lowell, Massachusetts, and there are a lot of hills there. Mm-hmm. My brakes had been squeaking, and I had made an appointment to have a mechanic look at it. But he was really busy that day, so he was going to take a look at my car the next day. I mean, I knew a ton of mechanics. They all were busy. I'm like, what the hell? What is it used to being friends with like 7 mechanics when they're all busy on the same day?
Yeah.
And, so I'm going home.
I'll be right back. I have to take care of something.
Okay. You go, girl. Go take care of your stuff.
I try.
Yeah, we all try. But I'm going down this hill. There's a stop sign at the end of the hill, the bottom of the hill, right? And at the bottom of the hill is a busy street. No brakes. My brakes went out completely. I'm like, oh, I'm going to die. Luckily, the kids weren't in the car. Nobody was in the car with me. But again, I had to use the e-brake. And I was about this far past where I should have stopped. But luckily, there was actually no traffic at the time, so I was able to back up a little bit. But I'm like,
yeah.
I drove, I was only about 5 minutes away from home. So I ended up, every time I had to stop, I used the e-brake. So then I had to get the e-brake replaced too, because I wore it out,
Yeah. Yeah, e-brakes don't.
And that's what I was there for, So, I mean, they're for stopping.
Not a Jake brake, dadgummit.
Yeah. Yeah. No Jake brake. But yeah, I mean, I've been in a lot of weird driving situations. I was driving my Firebird, that Firebird. Michael had been working on the car because Michael is a mechanic. He'd been working on the car. And we had a hose that was over, that like came over the engine a little bit. And I guess that was the only place they could put it. And the hood didn't like to close. So it was very hard to get it to click. And I guess he thought he had clicked it. And I'm driving, I'm doing 45, and all of a sudden the hood. And we're like sitting there going, what the fuck? And I'm like, I immediately was like, so I could see under that little curve that it makes.
Yeah, the crack.
I pulled over, and he was sitting there having a heart attack. He's like, oh, we're going to die. I'm like, and we pulled over, and the kids were laughing. The kids were in the car. They're laughing their asses off going, what happened? That was funny. Can we do that again? And I'm like, no. I'm just glad that it didn't detach completely and hit the top of the car because of the T-roofs.
Or go behind and hit another vehicle behind. And yeah.
So I looked at him, I stopped, I pull over, and I looked at Michael, and he's like, I swear it clicked. I'm like, obviously not.
Wishful dreaming there, buddy.
Yeah, I'm like, fix it. He's like, yep. And he got out of the car, and he went and put the hood down. But yeah, it was scary. I mean, when all of a sudden your vision to see is completely wiped out, all I saw was this big blue bird coming at me. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah, my ex, raised by a family of mechanics, went to put the oil in the car one day. This was the old Maverick in Nashville. And he comes in like 2 hours later, and he needs a smaller funnel. And I'm like, what the fuck for? Well, it won't fit. And, I'm like, what the fuck? I got 10,000 things going through my mind. Didn't register, found him a smaller funnel, handed it to him, out the door he went. About 2 hours later, he comes in yet again, half covered in the oil. And I'm like, when the hell took you so long? You're supposed to be helping and doing all this other shit, and you're standing out there fiddling around with the car. And, well, it took that long to get the oil, and I had to, like, drizzle it in. And I'm like, what, did you put it through the dipstick hole or something? There is a head cap that you take off to put that in. Well, why the fuck didn't you tell me?
Oh,
And I'm like, you
my.
raised by mechanics and you don't know what a head cap is? He did. He put it in through the fucking dipstick hole.
Well, I guess he was a dipstick.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
My dad was a mechanic, and he made sure when I got my car, we went over everything. He did not actually make me change a tire, but he showed me how to do it, and was like, "Now you know how to do it. Don't make me do it for you again." I'm like, "Okay," but he showed me where everything went, and told me whenever you get a new vehicle, always do change your filters and change your spark plugs and all, your coil and all that. So anytime you got a car, I did. So I knew how to do all that. I know how to put the oil in. I mean, everybody except Kayla and my son John's father was a mechanic. Their father didn't know jack about cars. He knew nothing about cars, and he didn't know how to drive them that well either. So he was never allowed to drive my car.
Well, my dad was not a mechanic for sure. And he always just paid to have stuff done. But then when he retired, couldn't afford to get a mechanic every time something broke down.
Yeah.
I mean, he was of the habit when he had his business and everything that if a car got to where it was kind of nickel and diming you a little bit, you just traded in for a new one.
Yeah.
He couldn't do that anymore either. And all of a sudden the water pump went out on the family vehicle. We can't afford to do that. And blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay. So I went to the auto parts store, got a water pump, and got a Sheldon. Went home, went to work. And they recommended that while I was doing all of that and having to take it all apart to check the belt, the serpentine, and it was looking a little rough, go ahead and replace that. Well, I knew that it was a little rough, so I just went and got another one. Well, then my brother shows up. I had to run and get, I don't know, some kind of gasket or something that they forgot to give me. So I ran back to the auto parts store. Well, my brother shows up. Oh, well, let me help her. Takes it all off, takes everything off. Usually when you don't know how to do something, you take it apart yourself so you can remember the order that everything goes back together.
Yeah.
I came home to a tarp laid on the driveway and all the parts scattered out on this tarp. And he's like, it's ready for the parts. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. He's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, I know you're not going to stick around long enough for all this to happen. And then you put it back together because you're the one that took it apart and knows the order of how everything goes back together. So you might as well just leave before I kill you. And so I proceeded to use the Shilton and my mother's memory on how everything went back together after I got all those parts on there.
Yeah.
It was fine. Once it was done, it was fine. Everything was fine. But talk about adding the stress. I mean, I don't know how much y'all know about full-size vans, but changing a water pump and a serpentine belt on a full-size van, you pretty much have to take the whole front end off.
Yeah.
To get to the fucking water pump. And the serpentine belt, you need to be like 6 foot tall to be able to crank that mother to get it back up on the wheel.
Right.
I'm 5'1" and
you can get StreamYard for free. You get 20 hours a month for free, and you can have up to 6 people on the panel. If you do their basic plan, which is $20 a month, well, it's $25 a month. It's $20 a month if you pay for it for a year, all at once. If you do it monthly, it's $25.
It's $55 a month for the processing fee of the monthly.
Yeah,
like there's anything to do nowadays.
They got to click a button,
Yeah.
We don't want them to strain their finger or anything.
Really.
But with the $20 a month, you have unlimited time, and you can have up to 10 people in your panel. So I pay for it. I mean, I couldn't pay for it the last couple of months, and my hours ran out this month. But my card actually worked this time, so I was able to pay for it. So I have the basic plan where I can have 10 people in, and I have unlimited hours, so I can do all kinds of lives, and they can be really long if I want them to be. Tina's like, no.
You will have me being a Lenny, and I will be snoring with my avatar.
I will find someone to record that. Yeah. So.
And I snore really loud. Sounds like my dog.
Hey, I can hear my son snoring from my room when he's out there. Okay. But yeah, you can do. I mean, I started out with the free thing, but then Robin made me a really cool birthday banner for the background, and for my thumbnail. And you can't use a background like with the background I have on here. You can't use that with the free version. You can only use their basic. It's like black with little leaves on it. But if you want to have any kind of artwork behind the people, you have to have at least basic. And she made me the most awesome birthday banner type of background, so I paid for it so I could use it. And then, ran amok with StreamYard. I'll probably be doing a live Saturday morning too, at some point.
Yeah, it costs money, Stash, if you want to do more than, little 5-minute videos a day or kind of thing throughout the month. Hey, Susanna.
Hi,
Yeah,
Susanna.
it depends on what you want to do with it. You know what I mean? You can have just 20 hours, and you can do like an hour live 20 times.
Yeah.
But if you want to, it's just like with anything else. You get a free version, which is minimal, and then if you want more options, you have to dish out some cash.
Yeah.
And I figure doing the lives, this gives people a place to go that's not an auction. Basically. Mana.
Love you, ladies.
Love you too, Tim.
Love you too, Tim.
Tweedles.
Tweedles. You can pretty much talk about anything you want in here. I mean, there is no actual ban on anything. But I mean, if you come in here and you're a bag of dicks, I'm going to boot your ass and you're not coming back. So it's the only rule.
Satchel Richards.
Yeah, Satchel Richards. Okay, hotness. So, I mean, and eventually I will be putting videos on my channel of making jewelry, and might actually do some auctions to sell my stuff. So there is that. I have plans, damn it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How's your room coming along?
Progress will be made Friday.
Okay.
Guess who's coming on Friday?
Mummy.
Mm-hmm.
Since Sonny's being a shithead.
Well, he's not so much a shithead. He's just lazy.
Well,
and there's stuff in the way where I want the desk. I didn't tell him where I wanted the desk, and he doesn't know. Apparently, didn't know where to put it. So,
Apparently, Sable says hello.
Thank you, Susanna. Sable. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I've got some supplies in there, and I've got the table legs for my kitchen table that I use as a craft table. The desk is in there. It's just up on its side because where it has to go, there's stuff there. And so my mom's gonna help me get some more of my supplies in there, and have my son put my other table together.
And browbeat him to straighten up the desk and all that.
Yeah, well, it's not so much browbeating. It's more she just asks him and he does it.
Yeah, they do things for grandma.
Yeah.
That they don't do for me.
And he's such a shit. I'll be like, well, how come you won't do it for your grandmother and you won't do it for me? He goes, well, I love my Grammy. Thank you, you little fucker.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Love you too, shithead.
Oh, Susanna. I'm hoping that people like them. You know what I mean? That's my biggest thing is that I'm going to make stuff and nobody likes it.
It's just like, I love Susanna's paintings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too.
Susanna, where's Tina?
Yeah, where is she?
I love Tina's rants. I really do.
Oh my God.
The two of them, when they talk, it gets me homesick, like for Massachusetts, because it's been so long since I've been there, and hearing the accent, and I'm like,
oh, she's sleeping.
She tired from going and picking up all your mail, huh? Oh, look, a package, and it's not for me. Big surprise. I love her. Hi, Andrew.
Hello, Andrew.
Yeah, Tina is hysterical. She's so funny. And Susanna tried to justify. She goes, "No, I really did win it at bingo. People send me presents. You did not win all of this at fucking bingo."
I know. It kills me. Oh. We are not giving Tina any more Carolina Reapers, though.
No.
And tore her ass up.
No more spicy jerky. I can't believe she ate that whole thing. Fuck you, cheese. Fuck you, macaroni and cheese. Best line ever. Best line ever. You can't eat the cheese. That's for my macaroni and cheese. Fuck you, macaroni and cheese. I'm dying over here.
Oh, I was no good. None.
That was so funny. I love you guys, Susanna. You're hysterical.
Yeah.
And she's just like, on that cheese, man. You should drink milk. I don't fucking like milk.
What? Well, I didn't make you get that.
Is that my Cracker Barrel cheese?
Off the table.
Tina's like, yeah. She's like, that's my macaroni and cheese. No, I don't care.
Fuck you, macaroni and cheese. Oh, that kills me. Every time I even think it in my head, I start laughing. I put cheese on my my Walmart order, and I was laughing about that. I'm like, cheese. Oh my. So yeah. Anyway. So yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got to throw in the hickory.
My fucking cigarette won't stay lit. Hate it when that fucking happens. Welcome back, badass. I love that avatar picture.
Yeah, that's wild.
I'm sorry for anything that you may hear in the background. I'm apologizing now. You
This
never
is my
know
channel.
what it might be.
It's
I know,
my channel.
but you know how my house is too.
Yeah, but you don't have to apologize on my channel.
I'm not apologizing to them. I'm telling you. I'm apologizing to you before it happens because you know it's going to.
But you don't have to apologize. It's my channel. They're fine.
We might have another Tina on here, you know. Just tell it like it is. You know how my kids, oh my God, my kids. We won't go there.
Tina, sit, stay. What is
She don't like me today. She's like, bye, bitch.
She's probably about ready to throw her internet out the window.
Right. Our weather's been kind of crazy. I'm sure she had the same thing that we had. She's not that far away from me. But it freaking snowed yesterday.
Yeah, she said it snowed there too.
The day before, it was like 75 degrees. No, okay, maybe not. It was like 73 degrees, whatever, close enough.
Yeah, there's a huge difference there.
Right, 2 degrees. Woo. Anyway, and then the next day, it did not get any warmer than 30. I think it was 37 degrees. It was as hot as it got yesterday. And then today it was in the 50s.
Yeah, low 50s is where we were at today.
I think ours went to like 65, something like that. It was nice here today.
Well, we got, was it like 2 or 2.5 inches of snow.
You know, I told you earlier, we will not have that kind of language on this show. You guys need to stop.
It all melted by noon.
That's foul language on this channel.
See, we were just getting it about noon, but it all melted by 4.
Only if it's yellow is it foul.
All snow is foul. Ew.
Not my favorite, but snow I can handle better than ice. This stuff was just slushy snow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It rained for
shit.
like hours before it even snowed. So
No, we didn't get that. We just got the snow.
I think it's supposed to.
we got the rain too.
It's supposed to rain here either tomorrow or Saturday. I know Sunday is supposed to be, or Friday is supposed to be partly cloudy. So hopefully it behaves itself because my mom won't drive in the rain and then I won't have my grocery order and that will suck. So.
Yeah, it was nice today too, Susanna. It was just a little cool. But it wasn't so cool that I ain't got a window open.
I mean, the outside temperature really doesn't affect me unless it's super hot and our AC is not on, or it's super cold and our heat's not on.
Yeah.
Because I'm outside. So, I mean, I looked into getting the little ramp things for the door, and one, I have to measure it, and I have no way to do that. I would have to ask my son to measure it. We know how that would go. And two, those little ramp things for the door jams are like $80 a piece. I'm like, I can't afford that. So,
well, last time I was in to see my primary care doctor, he did do the letter that was needed, which was the last thing needed to get me approved for lift recliner and home modification.
nice.
Which will include a ramp on the deck. So
Sweet.
hopefully that'll be happening here soon.
Well, I mean, I have the ramp, but the bottom of the ramp kind of just like it's just the wood drops. You know what I mean? Like the height of the wood.
Yeah.
So it drops, and I have a dirt driveway, so that means that it drops and the front wheels sink into the dirt, and I will be doing a header off the ramp out of my wheelchair. So I have to go down the ramp backwards because the back wheels are bigger and they don't cause that kind of issue.
They don't get rut stuck. Yeah.
But going down a ramp backwards in a wheelchair is a very frightening thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, if it was parked on where the end of it landed on concrete, you wouldn't have that issue.
Tina was putting down topsoil and grass seed in the rain. Well, my dad used to do that. Did she put hay on top of everything? On top of the grass seed? Because my dad used to, if we had patches of grass that like died and he would pull up that section and then put down more topsoil and plant grass, he would spread hay over the top of it. That way the birds can't eat the seeds, the grass seeds.
Keeps the birds from eating the seeds, keeps moisture in to help them. Brain fart. To help, so the seed breaks open and starts growing. I can't think of the word. Sprout. There we go. Sprout.
Susanna, you can find hay at a garden center.
Yep. They do have hay at garden centers because it's part of gardening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can always go to the pet stores too. They have stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, we didn't live in a city. I mean, it was a town. Oh, okay. Susanna, you're a brat. But we had a horse
That's
barn.
not nice. It's not nice.
No.
Kidding. Just kidding. Ha ha ha. No, I'm just playing.
You're just being shit.
Yeah.
I am. Yes, I feel like it today, so I'm going to.
Hey,
But I love
wrong with that.
Susanna. I wouldn't be mean. I was just playing around.
Stash said I was going to say germinate, Willow, but sprout sounds better. LOL. Yeah, there's nothing like having my dad walk out the door and just this flock of birds on our lawn and him running out there going, "Get away from my grass seeds!" So I looked at him, I said, if you put hay over that won't happen. And he's like, "You're 12, how do you know that?" I'm like, "I'm smart." And I walked back in the house.
Yeah, I had that happen with my dad too.
I mean, they sent me to camp since I was 5 years old. I mean, they teach you shit there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I could also shoot better than he could too, and he didn't like that at all.
Well, I didn't learn shooting range stuff from my dad, but I could swing a hammer better than him.
Mm.
He'd always miss the head on the nail, and I could put that puppy right in there.
Well, I'm telling you right now, don't hand Amy a nail gun.
Mm-mm.
No, nothing. No power tools ever.
Mm-mm.
I was driving down the road one morning, and there was a fella on a property along the road doing some work, and he tossed a board or something in the back of the truck, and he was sitting on the tailgate, kind of flung it back or something, and somehow bumped his gun, and it went off, ricocheted, and went directly into the heart.
Tina, that's exactly what he did. Get off my lawn! It was funny as hell because he was in his pajamas.
There was nobody
Yeah.
with him, so I looped around and aided the guy. Got an ambulance for him, and
Nail guns are dangerous. I mean, I didn't even want to be on my porch when they were putting the ramp up because they handed the 12-year-old the nail gun, and he was operating the nail gun, and I'm just like,
well, because I seen that, I would never operate a nail gun.
yeah,
Even with all the safeties, I just hand hammered. I would not use a nail gun.
Well, at least mine just went in the wall.
yeah.
Gosh. Could you imagine how, like, no, I don't know how to ask a stupid question. Could you imagine how our friends on YouTube would react if they heard some of the stuff that went on here? Just my dad alone. Or me telling
Yeah.
the kids, go the fuck away. Get out of my face. You're 17. Why are you in my face?
Right. I actually thought of Tina the other day, Susanna. Brandon, Lego Man.
Mm-hmm.
Said, hey, guess what I found the other day? And I picked it up and I got it for free, blah, blah. And he held up a 1989 Boston Celtic trash can. And I was like, you know who likes sports? Who likes New England sports? I was like, Tina, you should talk to Susanna Chronicle about that. And Kevin was like, how would you ship that? That would be awkward. He'd like, you'd have to like Frankenbox something to ship that thing. But yeah, it was in pretty good shape. It was a 1989 Boston Celtic trash can, the tall ones, real tall ones.
Like a tall kitchen can.
Yeah, it's probably a little shorter than that, but it's, I don't know, it's probably about 2 feet tall, maybe.
Oh, okay, so like an 8-gallon. Okay.
It was really cool though. I was like, oh, Celtics, yeah, because I'm a New England girl, can't help it. I'm surrounded by Clemson Tiger crap. Orange, way too much orange.
We don't actually have anything here in this state, so everybody roots from zero.
We have two local. We have the Clemson Tigers, which is the huge one, and we have the South Carolina Gamecocks. Their colors are maroon and white.
Everything here is red and white. The Chiefs and the Cardinals, their colors are similar.
And then Royals for baseball, if I remember right.
No, we don't root for the Royals. We root for the Cardinals.
Yeah.
I don't root for any of them. I don't do sports, so I went to one ball game, and it was a Royals game.
If I go
And
to a baseball game, I don't even pay attention. I just want the food, okay? Like,
I
fuck
was
the
trying to
baseball
pay
game. I
attention,
want food.
and some jackass with a Stetson 10-gallon hat sat down in front of me. Before I got
went.
done with the cowboy, he had his hat in his lap, and he was sitting there quite humble.
It
I
was
went.
really funny. The last game I went to, like, they were, this dude in front of us was, are you sure you want to sit that close to him? There was a dude next to me that couldn't speak English.
Hi.
So,
Hi,
me
Susanna.
being, hi, Susanna.
Susanna.
Hi, you
Me
guys.
being the, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just how you guys doing. That's all.
Pretty good.
Good.
I'm here.
I'm sorry, Amy. Go
Same. That's fine. The guy in front of us was like, "You're gonna sit next to him? He's not even from here." And I looked at the dude. I'm like, "Well, he doesn't stink, so I think I'm okay.
Yeah.
I think he put deodorant on. I'm good." And like
I went to.
10 minutes
Sorry.
after that, seeing somebody dressed like Cardinals and the Cubs are like they've always been at war with each other when it comes to baseball.
Yeah.
So this dude is dancing on the steps and he's all decked out in Cubs gear, head to toe. I'm like, oh my God.
Well, that's like New York and Boston. The Red Sox and the
the Yankees and the Reds.
Yankees. Huge rivalry.
Huge.
Huge.
It's crazy.
I went to a Boston Red Sox game when I was a kid. My dad took me. I don't even remember how old I was, but it was the last game that Carl Yastrzemski played in, and I got to watch him. I got to watch him hit his last home run.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
and that's all I remember about the whole damn game.
I went to one Red Sox game, and it was at Fenway.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, so excited to go, right? A friend of mine, so excited to go. And I'm sitting there. Those goddamn seats are so fucking small. My ass is too big. The boonies I'm sitting in. I'm like, what the hell? I said, this is so not right. My ass is hurting me. I'm done. I want to go home. And it was probably like in the 5th inning. And she's like, no, we got to wait. And I'm like, no. So to piss them off, because there was like so many guys around us, the guy hits the ball and it was a home run, right? And he's running up like, touchdown! I was so pissing people off, and then the guy's like, this is baseball. It's a home run. And I'm like, yeah, touchdown!
We had really good seats. I remember my dad being all happy about the seats we were in. To me, I was a kid. I didn't care, but my dad was really happy with seats. But I couldn't cheer or make any noise because he was embarrassed. So I had to be quiet at the baseball game. I'm like,
Oh.
I can't reach the ground in the seats.
I'm ready to jump up on the seat and start, yeah, and no. He took me to wrestling once when it was still the WWF.
Yeah.
And I got to see Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan and all the old school, Roddy Piper. And it was the very first time that Bret Hart was actually in an actual match instead of like the warm-ups or the reserves.
Uh-huh.
He went up against the Brooklyn Brawler and he was not supposed to win, but he beat the Brawler's ass and won the match. And all of the wrestlers were pissed off at him. But I was fully into wrestling at that point. I think I was 15 or 16.
Wow.
And I lived and breathed wrestling at that stage of my life. So and we were up in the balcony, and I'm like at the rail going, yeah, and my dad is like, sit down. And I'm like, my dad was like, I am never taking you anywhere ever again. I was like, are you kidding? You're sitting there like a lump. I'm the one embarrassed about you. Yeah. And he never took me anywhere ever again. So
do you remember Ivan Buski?
Do I remember who?
Ivan Buski, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I saw him with my dad. I was probably like, I don't know, 9 or 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
My dad took me. Oh, what a great memory. Thank you for that. It brought me back to that. Thanks.
You're welcome. Well, China lived across the street from me in Lowell, Massachusetts.
Who?
China, the wrestler.
The girl, right? Really?
Her boyfriend at the time. It was before she got into wrestling. They lived across the street from where I lived in Lowell, Massachusetts. I watched her pick up the front end of a Camaro to get a kid's soccer ball out from underneath it.
Get the fuck out of here.
I'm serious. She
Have
picked up the whole.
Have you ever read her book?
No.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Like, it's sad, but it puts a good perspective on why she was the way she was.
Yeah. Well, the girl was a beast, and she definitely made a name for herself. You know what I mean? So
For sure.
Wow.
I remember the first time I seen her in St. Louis, we went to, it was like a Hell in the Cell or something. Oh my gosh, I can't even remember. I just remember her coming out. We were pretty far away, but holy crap. I'm not intimidated by a lot of people, but wow.
she definitely had a presence. She definitely had a presence about her. She did.
I'm like, does she smile like ever? How does she keep a straight face? Because you know some of that stuff's funny and you want to laugh about it. But most of the time she was just like, I'm a bad bitch, you know. It's just like, whoa.
Yep. A lot of the male wrestlers wouldn't fuck with her at all, and they were huge. You know what I mean?
She beat some of their asses. That's why.
Yeah.
Now, China, because I know the name, but I'm not putting a face or. When was she in?
In the 90s.
She was,
90s is when she started.
She was with the Generation X.
Yeah, Triple H.
With
okay.
Eddie Guerrero.
And Bret Michaels when they were all a group. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember.
Shawn Michaels.
Yep, Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels. Yes. Jimmy Fly Snuka.
I loved him. He was awesome. And Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper was one of my favorites too.
Oh,
same.
Who was Roddy? Yeah, that's the one it is. Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking. Roddy Piper.
Yep. And actually, what's funny is Roddy Piper always reminds me of Cyndi Lauper, which reminds me of Captain Lou Albano.
Oh my
God. One of my friends, his CB handle was Banana Split, but his name was Rich. And he was at Old Orchard Beach and at the, like, where all the booths and stuff were with his girlfriend. And this guy bumped into his girlfriend. His girlfriend was like this big. And Rich got pissed, and he was like, dude, watch where you're going. And the guy mouthed off to him. Rich had a hair trigger. He picked the guy up and threw him through one of the booths.
Oh, my God.
Right? Well, the WWF was there actually doing some promotions, and Lou Albano saw him do that, handed him his business card and said, get in touch with me. I want to train you.
My cousin who lives in Canada, and he's a big guy. He's like 6'5", and he's like very brawly, right? Not that brawly. So he got a, I guess he tried out for wrestling. When he tells me this story, I freaking laugh my ass off. Well, apparently he went in the ring and they put two small people in there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the little midget guys. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, they beat the living shit out of him.
Oh, scary as fuck. I would rather go up against Andre the Giant than them tiny little dudes. They're fucking vicious.
Yep.
They tell you to watch out for the little ones.
They bite you.
He was like,
not all little people bite.
The ones in wrestling rings do.
Ew.
Well, I have family in Canada. My dad's whole family, because my dad was Canadian. They all are in Canada, which is why I will not vacation there. No, we lost Willow this time.
Willow
does. So if you know anybody in Canada with the last name Kurtz, Kurtz, they are probably related to me.
Do you know where about in Canada?
Everywhere. My dad was one of 7 children.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm.
And they all had a crap ton of kids. So, yeah, they're literally everywhere. But my cousin, Lisa, welcome back, Willow. She met Bret Hart.
There?
She met Bret Hart in a bar. When he first started out, I think it was after that match that I saw. and he was all full of himself, and he was in the bar bragging to people that he was a WWF wrestler. He was hitting on every girl in the bar with this line about him being a wrestler.
Oh, God.
And walked over to the table. My cousin was there with her girlfriends. There were like 5 of them sitting around the table. He's like all smarmy, and he's like the greasy hair. He had it. It's like, dude, if you're not in the ring, dry that shit up, you know? And every single one of them told him to beat it. They were like, move along.
Right.
He got shut down by every single woman in the bar. So that's all I could think about every time I saw him wrestle is, dude, I know an entire bar full of women told you no. Yeah, it was really, I was devastated when his brother died like that in the ring. I was absolutely horrified when that happened.
What was his brother's name? He was
Owen.
Owen, that's right. Owen. Yeah, Owen.
Yeah, they wouldn't let anybody repel after that.
No.
Which was sad because that's how Sting used to get to the ring too. In the WCW, Sting used to come down in the dark. So like first he's not there, then he's there, and you're like, So then they had to have him start coming up through the ring or out from under the ring or whatever.
We lost Amy now.
Yeah, people keep bouncing in and out, man. Start duct taping people to their chairs.
Fuck yeah, get Velcro.
Stick everybody to the wall.
So Willow.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a lot of happy memories with my dad. My dad was an asshole. I mean, you hear about Canadians being nice and they're so polite, and yeah, my dad was a dick. I was like, why do I get the one that doesn't fit the stereotype? You know? But I think when he became an American citizen, it was like required for him to be an asshole. I don't know. But he was not a very nice person at all. So,
were you born here or in Canada?
I was actually born in Portland, Maine.
Portland, Maine.
Yeah, I was adopted when I was 5 days old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. My mom had a previous marriage which was very abusive, and she got physically attacked when she was pregnant twice, and it damaged her so badly she could not have kids. Hey, Thomas.
Hey, Thomas.
And she really, really wanted a baby, you know, and so when her and my dad got married, he said, okay. But I don't think he really wanted a kid, you know, and I think he actually wanted a boy, but I was the only one available. Because, well, he got better than a boy because I was a tomboy and I could whip boys' butt. So, you know, kids didn't mess with me, man. My dad told me if someone makes fun of you, just hit them really hard. They'll leave you alone. My mom said, ignore them. They'll stop. My mom was wrong and my dad was right. So trial and error. I tried both of them, and ignoring people didn't work. Hitting them, on the other hand, that worked.
That worked.
Yep.
So, Willow, how did you make out with your injections?
All right.
Good.
Then I had lab work done this last week. They're grasping at straws trying to diagnose what's going on with my eye.
Oh.
And they did a TB test, a Lyme disease test, and a syphilis test. I mean, we're talking grasping straws here. All but the TB test, because it had to be shipped out, has come back and they were negative. So I'm assuming the TB will as well, because I have no symptoms.
Did they do that? Did they give you a shot on your arm for the TB test?
No, they actually can do a blood draw now, but it's a very big vial of blood. Yeah, they can do it that way now. So.
Okay.
You know what freaked me out when I had to get blood drawn when I was in the hospital? I'm expecting, you know, the normal little vials that they have, the little tubey things. This girl pulls out something that looks like a freaking I had the word in my head.
Cigar case?
No. The little bottles of liquor. The little that you buy at the counter. Then
little nips.
I know what that test was. That was a blood gas.
And they took like 4 of those, and I'm like, hello, vampire. And I'm like, okay, that looks like a shot. Are you guys vampires? You're drinking that later, right? You're putting it in little shot bottles. What are you doing? I was freaking out. And they were
That's
like,
blood
no.
gas. They do that every 6 hours for 24 hours to get the result.
Yeah. But I was like,
been there, done that.
But I had never seen that before. So I was just like, what are you doing with that thing? Like, yeah.
Yeah, my first breathing episode was I didn't know what was going on. You know, I hadn't had an episode per se to get a diagnosis of COPD.
Mm-hmm.
And I had been struggling with breathing a bit for a few days. And finally, it just reached the point that I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go to the ER and find out what's up because something's up. It ain't going away. And when I got there, I basically had been hyperventilating for days, and my blood gas and my blood count or air, you know, O2 and all that was clusterfuck. So they wanted to keep me overnight and keep me on oxygen and do the nebulizer treatments like every 4 hours and just hammer, you know, steroids into me and all that shit.
Right.
So, and during that, they did a blood gas to make sure that there wasn't a heart episode involved within that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did say I had chest pain, but it wasn't heart chest pain, it was lung chest pain. But they test anyways. You know, precautionary. But yeah, 3 to 4 vials every 6 hours for 24 to see how the numbers play.
Yeah.
You know what's depressing is when you have to actually Google something that you already know and the word popped out of your head. I was looking for nip bottles. That's what it was.
We
The
was
nip bottles.
me and Milo were telling you nips.
I know. You were saying it at the same time though, so it was garbled, so I didn't hear it.
Yeah, we checked each other out on it, so she didn't actually get it.
Oh.
So I looked it up, damn it, because it was bothering me. I'm like, what the hell are they called?
All you had to do is ask.
No.
All you have to do is ask Willow. Willow was like the encyclopedia.
Well, I am usually too. It's just for some reason the word just went out of my head. I'm like,
You guys are, that's for sure.
Not so much lately. I try to help in chat rooms nowadays, and everybody treats me like I'm a freaking blithering idiot. So,
What?
yeah, I've been getting ghosted a lot. Right back at you, people.
No.
Yeah.
that's
There's
not nice.
yeah, there's a particular person that I think is inducing that. Let them have fun. Ain't gonna get them anywhere. If they're trying to get to me, it ain't gonna happen. I really don't give a fuck. You know, they can talk shit, they can do whatever. I don't care. I really, really don't care.
Yeah.
I am who I am, take it or leave it. If they decide to leave it, that's on them. If they know better and they don't listen to this person, all power to them, you know?
Well, I'm kind of that way. If you don't love the awesome as it is, then go away.
Yeah. If you don't like my pasty white flabby ass, then that's on you. I really don't give a shit.
I mean, you can't force people to like you, and not everybody likes everybody. Personalities don't always click, and that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that, and you know. Yeah.
Well, put it to you this way: I'm not modding. So if you hope to see me modding somewhere, there's like 2 places that I'm willing to do it, and every place else, no. I get asked regularly, and they get turned down. So.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I haven't been modding.
If they welcome that person, then I'm not coming. Sorry, people.
Yeah, Dilligaf. Which is spelled with 2 L's, by the way.
What's a dilligaf?
Yeah, when the fuck is that?
Dilligaf is, do I look like I give a fuck?
Oh.
Oh my god.
It's easier for me to just say that than it is to try to figure out the what is that?
Acronym?
Yeah, there you go. See what I mean?
See, I knew acronym, but I didn't know NIP. I mean...
Well, I was trying to figure out Sprout, and it took me forever, so...
We all have those days.
My brain is like a sieve anymore, and that drives me crazy because I had a mind like a steel trap. Yeah. And when I have those brain fart days, the fuzzy fog days and all that shit,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's a part of me in my head that knows that this is not right,
Yeah.
you know, and
Mhm.
it grates that part of my brain all day long until the cloud lifts and I get my brain back.
Yeah.
You know, there's a conscious part of me in there that still is intact and knows it's, you know, like, get the fuck out of my head, you know.
I do.
It drives me nuts when I can't remember something. You know, I mean, for example, I have embroidered since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Now, in my little project thing, I have a little embroidery stitch encyclopedia because I'll be like, okay, I want it to look like this, and then I'll sit there and look at it like a blithering idiot because I can't remember the stitch. A stitch that I've done thousands of times. So now I keep a little book with my project to refer to because of my mush brain.
Now, do you think that you want a new medication? Maybe it's a side effect.
It's not a new medication. It's because I'm on so many medications.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
You know, I mean, I've got a lot of diagnoses and a lot of medications to treat the symptoms of those diagnoses that,
Is-
yeah. I mean, like today I just took a half a steroid because my lungs were pissed off. When I came on, I was on oxygen. Did a breathing treatment and what have you, and it finally settled down. Was just having one of those little spells that a COPDer gets. Thankfully,
Mm.
it just lasted a few hours instead of days, which I've had happen. Between that and the joint stuff and the spine stuff and the fibromyalgia and the diabetes and all these other things that I have going on with my body and all these medications that I have to take because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't have my brain like I had before.
Yeah.
But I've tried not doing certain medications to see if they were the ones affecting me and that kind of stuff. And the symptoms are too excruciating that I end up back on the medication because
Yeah.
my pain levels 10 years ago were more than the average person would be able to handle. I mean, they would be prostrate in bed moaning.
Hmm.
Okay, they have become exponentially worse in that 10 years.
Yeah.
In the past 2.5, they've
when I
skyrocketed.
when I first when I got the attorney for getting my disability, and she ordered the MRI because none of my doctors would do it.
Mhm.
She ordered me, she told that gave whatever order, and people listened to my attorney. My attorney was fierce. She was awesome. And I got her intentionally because she's intimidating as fuck. And she's highly respected in town. She's one of the best attorneys you can get. So, yeah. So she got the results of the MRI, and she called me and she's like, "Okay, I got the results of your MRI. I wanted to come in and talk to me." And I'm like, "Okay." So I went in and I'm standing there, and she opens this folder and she's looking at it and she goes, "Bulging disc, bulging disc, bulging disc." And she stopped and she looked at me. She goes, "All your discs are bulging." I'm like, "Uh-huh." She goes, "How are you even standing up? Please sit down before you fall down." Like,
Hmm.
yeah. So, yeah, my back. I have degenerative disc disease, and obviously, multiple bulging discs. I have sciatica problems. I had all kinds of problems before I lost part of my leg. So, trying to maneuver around on one leg with a really bad back is not fun at all.
Yeah.
Nope.
And we mushed through it. I mean, if I sat here and wallowed and just was like, "Poor me, poor me, poor me," I'd be curled up in the corner with a bottle of vodka, sucking my thumb and rocking back and forth. You know what I mean? I'd be like,
Yeah. I agree.
and it wouldn't do any good. It would do no good. So, I mean, when my back first went out real bad, and I couldn't work anymore, I couldn't do things that I normally or that could normally be done. Like I could sweep my floor for like 5 minutes and I'd have to sit down for 30. I could do one or two dishes and I'd have to sit down for at least 20 minutes. It was horrible. And it was very frustrating that I couldn't finish anything, So I started beading because I could finish that because I was doing it sitting down. And I started just with simple stringing beads on freaking wire. I got the stuff at Walmart, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And eventually I got beading books and found different patterns and learned how to do different things. And I do bead weaving now, and I don't use a loom though. I do have one, but I don't use it. I haven't used it yet.
I do have loom, and I have used it, but I find loom work more tedious than
Yeah, it is.
freehand.
I'd rather do brick stitch or peyote stitch, and
Yeah.
it feels so cool when you have this like sheet of beads that are all
Perfectly uniform, and
yeah,
yeah.
it feels really cool. So
I
sometimes
also love to do just free form beadwork.
yeah,
You know,
I mean, I learned how to do all different kind of things, and then I had done macrame, of course, going to camp from the time you're 5 until you're 12.
I never went to camp, but I learned macrame on my own.
You get stuck doing macrame every year. So I was like, I could make macrame jewelry. So I started doing that, and I bought the Fimo beads like that you see,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was like, I wonder if I could make something like this. So I looked it up, and I'm like, oh, I can work with Fimo clay. And a friend of mine in AOL used to make the most gorgeous roses with polymer clay. And so she put me down the rabbit hole of the polymer clay community.
I do that too.
And I started making my own beads with polymer clay. And then I was making little sculptures and doing I made pens, like clay covered pens. They came out pretty cool.
Do you still have any of those?
Have what?
The jewelry of the polymer clay?
I don't know. I probably have them. Shush, cat. Jeez. I probably have them in the land of somewhere here.
Mm-hmm.
But and then went from polymer clay, and I did some card work, like embossing. Like I made my whole family. I embossed Christmas cards for everybody.
Oh yeah.
And bookmarks and all kinds of stuff like that. I have a gajillion rubber stamps, and then 4 years ago, I was like, a thing popped up on my Facebook, and it was for Beaducation. It was a video that they had gone live, and I'm like, Beaducation. I'm like, what's this? So I click it. It's not beads. It was metal stamping. They had originally been beads, and they morphed into doing metal work for the most part. They still incorporate beads in some things, but for the most part, it's metal stamping and soldering and wire wrapping, things like that, enameling. And I went down that rabbit hole hard because I was like, oh, I can do that.
See, that never grasped me, but I've done crafts since I was a little kid. I mean, construction paper, a glue stick, and junk mail, and I was a happy girl. Because there was always neat little emblems and things on junk mail. And Dad, being a business, he got mounds of junk mail, and he was more than happy to let me rip it to hell. And then I got into school. In middle school, they had a class. It was like a 30-minute class before school started, doing plastic canvas work, which is weaving yarn into a plastic grid type material.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I found out, I went to the library and I found like cross stitch and all these other things. And I was like, ooh. And so Mom started letting me, I'd always go help her like do grocery and stuff. And, if I behaved and blah, 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 she let me get a little something. And I was always the one that behaved. It was my older siblings that were little monsters. And I would just push my cart and pick up whatever she told me to. But anyways, and then I, got to the age of an allowance, and so my allowance always went to the craft store, and a Saturday matinee at the movie theater down the block from my folks' business.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go to a matinee, and I wouldn't have snacks so that I could have craft money to hit the craft store next door to the theater.
Now, did you have a booth?
Do what?
Did you have a craft booth?
In the 90s, Dad and I did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we popped the tent, did the fairs and the flea markets and all that stuff until he physically wasn't able anymore. And we had such a big setup. It was always a 2-section setup.
Yeah.
We rented 2 booths. I couldn't do it myself, get it set up in the time frames that they allow for that kind of thing.
Right.
There was just no way anymore. So we had to give it up. And he started selling his stuff, which was larger woodwork. He used to do Dutch windmills out of wood, make them out of wood and sell them for yard art in 4 different sizes. And then, whirly gigs and whatever's popular in the 90s. He made all that stuff. And I did beadwork and jewelry making and that kind of thing. And when I found beads, I was done.
Oh, Thomas has been doing diamond painting. That's cool.
Oh, the diamond dots, yeah. I've got a
Wendy's
couple of those
Kingdom.
kits to try. I just haven't gotten there yet.
Wendy's Kingdom, who was in here earlier, she does diamond painting. She's actually sending me one. She's doing them
I
with her
think I'll
daughter.
enjoy it, but I think I'm probably going to start just like buying up the diamond dots and the sheet material and making my own designs.
Yeah.
I like some of the designs that are out, but I'm not paying their prices just because, you know, it's like a name brand design. I'll make my own and, you know.
Yeah.
I did cross stitching too for a little while, but I have to have stamped cross stitch because I'm not counting that shit.
See, I prefer the counting and then also embroidery. I love the embroidery, crewel work.
My mom
I
used to
don't
do
like
that.
the knot things, that whole knot thing. I can't remember what it was called. Where it was just a bunch of French knots. Everything was a French knot. I don't like that lumpy, bumpy.
Oh yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
My mom did the American Eagle, holding the branches in one hand and the scroll in the other. She did that with embroidery, and they framed it, and it was on the wall while I was growing up.
Right now, I'm doing a floral design that will go into. It's just a thing of wildflowers, very simple.
That's pretty.
It's going to go into a little sewing folder that I'm putting together. That's a bit of sewing, bit of quilting. It's just kind of a mishmash.
My mom used to knit.
I need a new case.
My mom still does knit, but she used to knit ferociously. She would knit all kinds of stuff, because the church that she went to that I kind of got kicked out of, would have their like rummage sales like every month, and you could sell whatever. So she used to make a whole bunch of like baby clothes and doll clothes and things like that, and then she'd bring them in and she'd put them on a table and have them, you know, whoever was doing the table, and she just donate the money to the church.
I sew for dolls, but for competition, not for sale.
Yeah.
I haven't been doing it here for the past year or so. Deadlines are a problem for me. If they decide to do a project towards the end of an injection, I just can't sit and focus. You know, I'm just pretty much until I get my next shot.
I tried learning how to knit.
I can't knit. I can't crochet. I've tried. That's like me trying to learn to stick drive.
I can crochet a single stitch.
Yeah.
I used to do it walking around at camp. I just get a thing of yarn and just on my finger, I would do that single crochet stitch, and I'd end up with this like 20-foot snake of crochet.
Yeah.
And
yeah, turning corners, doing the extra, you know, I just can't wrap my head around it. But give me beads and thread, give me floss and a piece of fabric, and I can make anything. 3 dimensions, 1 dimension, it don't matter. But try to do yarn and a hook or the needle, fuck that. I'm just done.
Yeah.
What's funny is in the beading magazines, they would have the patterns for crochet beading, like beaded crochet.
Or beaded knitting.
And bead knitting and all that. And I'm like, you know what? No.
I absolutely love the look of a bead knitted reticule from like the Victorian era.
Yeah.
But I cannot make one. I cannot make one. Now I can bead weave one, you know, and do the fabric lining and make it all fancy and everything, because I'm also a seamstress. So, you know, I can sew clothes, I can sew curtains. In fact, I've got a bolt of fabric leading right there to make my living room curtains here. But yeah, crochet knit, it just ain't gonna happen. Well, if I did learn, I was gonna learn how to do it in miniature to do clothes for 17-inch tall fashion dolls. But yeah, it just ain't gonna happen.
I did make an amulet bag. I just haven't put a necklace on it yet. But I bead wove an amulet bag. It's got like really cool fringe on it. The fringe came out really awesome. And I did that freehand. I didn't have a pattern. I just made the pattern as I wanted. It came out really nice.
Yeah, I always make my own patterns with that stuff. I just picked up a package of the large wood needle holders to turn into amulets, bead them and turn them into an amulet.
So yeah, it's
they were on clearance at Hobby Lobby. I wasn't gonna pass them up. Them fuckers are expensive.
2 inches by 2 inches, and then there's like 1.5 inches of fringe on it, and you just have to put some kind of necklace or chain on it.
Yeah.
And
I've made amulet bags. I've made tarot bags.
Yeah.
I beaded my wand.
I
have a willow wand that is beaded.
Yeah, I need to make a tarot bag. I didn't even think about bead weaving a bag for that. I should have.
Willow?
I did a bead weave motif on it, and then it's silk lined and velvet on the outside.
I think Susanna was trying to ask you something.
Hi, honey.
Willow? You do wands?
Do I do what?
You do wands?
Lawns?
You make wands.
Wands. No, I made my wand. And then I bead wove over the willow wood, and then it's got a quartz point in the end of it. And then I've got an oak one to put together. I've got the oak wood. It was a piece of wood that I took from the bur oak tree in our backyard of my childhood home before it was demolished.
So you wouldn't for me?
You want a wand?
I do.
What kind of wood?
Tina's not gonna freak out, is she?
Oh, Tina can go fly a kite, please.
I know you didn't win that at fucking bingo.
No, literally, I would love a wand. Because I have the Harry Potter wands, but I want one specifically for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, then I need to know what colors call to you. I need to know what wood calls to you. I need to know what gems call to you, so I know what type of gem point to put in the end, what type of wood to create it from, and what color of beads to weave it if you want it bead woven. Okay. So you need to think real hard on those things and email me.
Absolutely.
Or catch me on Facebook, one or the other.
Oh, I'm so excited.
But yeah, I'll make you one.
Thank you. Yeah, but it's not going to cost me $100, is it?
No. But if you want it bead woven, it will be substantially more expensive than just the wood, because bead weaving takes forever.
Yeah, it takes a long time.
So,
and then without my arthritis, yeah.
Roughly how much? A guesstimate.
Under 100. I'll do that.
That's perfect. That's fine. Yeah. As long as it's under 100.
Yeah, I can make that happen.
Did Tina put you on a spending limit?
Yeah, I am. I've been going downstairs taking the packages before she gets home now.
That's funny.
Oh,
and you have to promise me one thing.
Yes.
No ill deeds used with that wand. And it doesn't end up in one of Tina's orifices.
It's not that kind of wand.
Yeah, but if she gets mad because she bought it, it could. And I'm just like, promise me it won't. No. Are you going to do all that work for it to get covered in shit?
No, absolutely not. No. I'll threaten Tina. I'll say, this wand will turn you into a fucking frog.
Yeah, the process it takes to get wand wood. There's certain woods that are wand woods, that are the traditional wand woods, and then there's the untraditional. You know, you want to look at longevity, so you do want to get an old growth wood, and not, you know, modern, fast growing. You know, because it just won't keep.
I like oak. I really do like oak.
Oak?
Yeah.
Oak?
But my favorite tree is a willow tree.
So you're into willow as well? Yeah, willow wood is what called to me, and then oak ended up calling to me. So I was going to make one of each.
So definitely my favorite tree is a willow tree. That's okay. It always has been. And I love the color green.
Okay.
It's so the earth calls to Susanna.
Yep.
And I like I don't know a lot of the names of the stones. I really don't. But I like
just give me a color of stone that calls to you.
The green one.
Okay.
But I don't want it like bedazzled. Like, do you know what I mean?
You wanted a little blinging?
No, I don't want it
Hey,
blank.
Christy.
I like it earthy.
Okay. So you want it pretty organic.
I really do, because I find so much beauty in nature.
Yeah.
See, I was right. Kodi is smart.
Hey, Christy.
Hey, Christy.
Hi, Christy.
Yeah, I'll see what I can come up with wood-wise. I ended up ordering a piece of willow for mine because I couldn't find any locally.
Mhm.
You know, small town, not a lot of options for organic or AK exotic woods. Basically,
Yeah.
not pine or oak.
Yeah.
I'll see what I can do.
Oh, I'm so.
I mean, if you have a willow tree that you have access to, you could ask that tree to give you a piece of wood and you could mail it to me. And it would have more of your energy embedded in it. Because while I'm weaving it, while I'm creating it or anything like that, I will be using gloves so that I don't interject any of my energies into it. And then it'll be cleansed by the full moon before I ship it out.
I can see it. Tina, why the fuck do I have to come down to the police station to get you for hacking up someone's fucking tree?
See, I never cut the wood from the tree. I always ask the tree for the wood, and if it wants to give, it will drop a piece of wood for me. It'll drop a log.
My luck, it would land on my head.
God, Willow, I didn't know that you were so in depth. That's awesome.
Honey, I'm a witch, just like Kodi. I'm an earth believer.
Oh, you
I
guys.
lean a bit more towards the shamanism, the Native American aspects, because I have two forms of Native American in me. But I also appreciate the English and the Irish, because I have both of those in me as well. I'm English, Irish, Dutch, Dane, Cherokee, and Apache.
Oh, wow.
So
I'm adopted. I claim everything.
So yeah, there's a lot of the different pantheons that I have researched and studied, and some call to me, some don't. The ones that really call to me are the ones that I do more in-depth research and learning and growth. But yeah, I'm an earth believer. I'm an out-of-date tree hugger and proud of it.
Absolutely. Like,
well, that's like Kodi is short for Kodiak because the Kodiak bear is my spirit animal.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, Kodi is actually not her real name.
Shocking.
Kodi's not your real name?
No.
Willow's not my real name either.
I know Willow's not your name.
Although Kodi is a legal alias because I do give mail to Kodi Fontaine. So since the post office acknowledged that the name is legitimate, it is considered a legal name.
Hey, I
get it for Willow Alseer as well, but Willow Alseer is actually my shaman name. So
your shaman name.
Yeah, basically shaman witch name. My earth believer name.
So let me ask you, I don't know much about this at all. I really honestly don't.
Okay.
So if I ask you a question, it's because I literally do not know. And
it's fine. Kodi and I are both very open.
Yeah.
So are you a Wiccan?
No.
Not
pagan. Pagan. Wiccan is the newer version of paganism. Paganism is the authentic 6,000 plus year old spiritual system or religion that was beat back by the Christians back in the day. Wiccan has only been around for about 1,500 to 2,000 years, and true pagan has been around for 6,000 plus.
Wiccan, like it is now, has only been around for
the modern today stuff. Yeah, a couple hundred years at most.
1959. It was created by what's his name, who I don't even acknowledge, and he just grabbed he grabbed a whole bunch of crap from a whole bunch of different pantheons, threw it together, called it Wiccan because the man couldn't get laid, so he oriented a religion that was female based, and did their coven stuff naked so that he could get laid.
I've always found it very, very fascinating.
But it's a good starting point. I mean, I started off Wiccan and then I got over it.
Wiccan is very everything's happy-go-lucky, white fluffy cloud type, and yeah, that's so not me. Shit happens. Good, bad, in between. And with paganism, you learn to cope, you learn to deal, you learn to accept, and you learn to fight back. With Wiccan, I'm not an airhead. Sorry, people.
I mean, not all Wiccans are airheads, but the whole harm none rule in general is a good rule. Okay, because you shouldn't go around intentionally harming anyone. But a lot of the Wiccans are like, you can't hurt anyone. I was like, so if someone walks up and slaps you, what are you going to do? And they're like, nothing. And I'm like, you're stupid. I'm like, because if someone comes up and slaps me, I'm punching them in the throat and leaving them lying there kibbying on the ground like a fish. I'm like, no. So yeah, Wicca was definitely not for me. With
paganism, defensive magic is a basic staple. So, which fit me just fine because I'm not one that'll start a fight, but I'll end the fucker and I'll come out standing.
Yeah. Cut a bitch if I have to. I have no problem with that. Paganism is an umbrella term. There are so many different paths under the pagan. It's like Christianity. I mean, you have Christianity, and then you have Catholics don't consider themselves Christian. Whatever, they're Christian, but they don't consider themselves Christian, so we'll leave them out of it. But you have Protestant, you have Baptist, you have Lutheran, you have all these different sections, and paganism is the same way.
Yeah. So, and each of those variations under paganism is called a pantheon.
Yep.
Pantheon.
So, I mean, you have the Greek, you have the Roman, which technically were the same gods. They just,
right.
I mean, there are like 10,000 different gods and goddesses that are celebrated in different pagan religions.
Yeah, there's actually a book, and it's about 3.5 inches, 4 inches thick on just gods and goddesses.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like bigger than Sears and Roebuck ever got. I mean, this thing is like monster. I have it.
I mean, you've got the Celtic aspect, and the Celtic aspect has multiples under it, and then you've got Druidism, which people claim to be Druid, but there were no written records of Druidism. It was passed down by mouth and stories, and
just like Native American.
Yeah. They were pretty much, but the Druids were targeted intentionally and pretty much wiped out when the islands were invaded. So it's very unlikely that any of the people claiming to be hereditary Druids are actually Druids. I mean, it's all well and good to follow the path that they think it is, but they're probably not actually.
Yeah.
And then there's Norse, and there's Native American, and which anything not Christian or Hindu is considered pagan or Jewish.
But I'm asking, can you perform magic?
Not like Harry Potter magic.
No.
Yeah, like I said, please don't.
No, it's fine.
I'm just asking.
What magic is the same thing as prayer for Christians. Yeah. It's sending out energy, whether it's negative energy or positive energy or protective energy or just cleansing energy, whatever your intent is, you focus on that. And some people need tools to do that. Like, there are some people that need all their crystals in a row. They need this, that, and they have certain candles have to be. I just light a candle. It just helps me concentrate. That's all I use.
It's a focal point.
Yeah. And it's just sending energy. It's focusing on your energy and then releasing it to where it needs to go. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I have found that if I'm angry, really angry, I probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
My younger kid's father called the cops on me 3 days before Christmas when they were little and told the cops that I was beating my children and that he wanted them removed from my house. My daughter, who was 3.5 at the time, as soon as the cop walked in the door and said, well, the children's father said, and my daughter pipes up with, did daddy lie again? So the police officer, we had them lift their shirts and check, and they were already wearing shorts, so he could see that there were no bruises on them anywhere. And I was so angry that I returned the negativity he was throwing at me. And 2 days later, a friend of mine was like, hey, did you hear? And I'm like, did I tell you about it? Because if I didn't tell you about it, then I didn't hear about it. What are you talking about? And they're like, your ex is in jail. And I'm like, what? He got arrested for stealing money out of the safe at McDonald's.
Wow.
I'm like, whoops. I'm like, good, you know. I didn't really care at that point because, you know, he was an asshole. But yeah, I don't intentionally do something, but I will return someone's negativity to them. And
Tenfold. Yep.
yeah, so
Karma.
yeah, I give karma a helping hand once in a while.
Self-induced karma.
But you know, if they're not negative towards me, then they don't have anything to worry about because it's their own negativity that is being returned to them.
Yep.
It's
Getting what they gave out.
This is where the expression "I'm rubber, you're glue," whatever you throw at me bounces off me and sticks to you. That's where that came from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is a form of defensive magic.
Yep.
Wow.
So sometimes things happen, sometimes it doesn't. If it happens, it's meant to happen, and if it doesn't happen, then it's not meant to happen. I mean, you know, but mostly it's just sending positive energy. I mean, like I'll light my candle. Like I lit my candle. I had my candle going for 3/4 of a day when Robin was in the hospital with her surgery and everything. You know what I mean? I mean, my candle started off new, and this is where it ended up because it was lit all day. I need a bigger candle. And whenever
Sometimes with everything going on with Rona and everybody's health and everything, yeah, we need a candle that's like the size of Texas.
Yeah. Well, there have been groups of pagans that have specified a specific time. And at that time, they all start concentrating on like wellness for the country and calmness and, you know, things like that. And it's like a concentrated group of energy coming from all different directions and spreading out everywhere.
Yeah.
Just try and help people adjust and deal with what they're going through, you know?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the world's crazy. And
Oh, cool.
oh, by the way, that whole thing about witches doing a spell to get rid of Trump, that didn't exist. That didn't happen. That was never happening.
What?
So I don't know where they even came up with that. When I heard about that, I laughed my ass off. I was like, no.
I know. I heard about it too, and I was just like, "Are you kidding?"
Yeah, they were saying that there was covens of witches that were going to do spells to try and get rid of Trump.
Oh my God.
I'm like, no, witches know better. They just sniped his ass. So they wanted to do that. But the problem is nobody wanted Pence to be president, so that's why nobody killed him.
Exactly. Yes.
But, you know, I mean, yeah, that was never, and there's no war on Christmas. Okay, that doesn't exist.
No what?
You know, a lot of Christians, every Christmas on my Facebook, I do have Christian friends on my Facebook. Every year they'll start posting things on their pages about the war on Christmas, that, you know, witches and pagans don't want Christmas. We don't care. Christmas is all our stuff anyway that Christianity took in order to manipulate pagans to go celebrate Christian holidays.
Yeah. For us, it's called Yule.
Yeah.
And it's what, about 2 to 3 days prior to actual Christmas.
Yeah.
Our new year. Our new
the
year is Halloween.
Yep.
Known as Samhain.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, the tree, the holly, the decorations, the candles, all of that. I mean, the boughs, you know, they put up evergreens, the wreaths, everything came from pagan practices.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually books on it.
So, I mean, we don't, I mean, there are some people that are, I mean, there are right wings sections of all different groups, whether it's political, religious, whatever, you know. I mean, there are artists that are so right wing about their art, they won't share it. They won't, I mean, they'll sell it, but they won't share how they do it. You know, it's like, oh, it's my secret.
Right.
Just like cooks with recipes or whatever, you know, there's always the batshit crew in everything.
Yeah, most pagans have no problem with other religions. Just don't come at us and bash us with the Bible, which, by the way, I have had people do.
I respect all belief systems as long as you don't shove it in my face, and you can respect mine. Otherwise, you know, if you can't be open-minded, then don't waste my time.
Well, I mean, it's literally in the Bible that Jesus says to share your love of the Lord with others, but if they do not wish to hear it, brush the sand from your sandals and walk on.
Mm-hmm.
That is literally in the Bible. But
they kind of avoid those little sections of the scripture because it's not what they want. They want you to come bang on people's doors and,
Yes.
disturb their day and try to shove it down your throat or whatever. And that I don't agree with that.
I got
Because if I
attacked
did that to them, the next day there'd be a cross burning in my front yard.
I got attacked while I was working at a gas station here in South Carolina. I got attacked by a group of like 7 people that came in and started bashing me and telling me I eat babies and I worship the devil. And I'm like, get out, It was actually the commissioner or the chairman of 3 different Baptist churches. It was a grouping that he was in charge of all of them. He owned a funeral home. He owns a funeral home in town. And he actually came in, tiny little black guy in a fedora, right? Cutest little guy. He came in and he was like, what are all you people doing? What is wrong with you? This is not how Christians act. And he religious shamed them hard. And they all walked out with their heads down. And I came out from behind the counter. I was like, I need to hug you now. And so I hugged him and found out who he was. And I was, but I mean, people just are like, and I'm like,
I respect everyone's belief.
Yeah.
I really do. I find it fascinating. I love to learn, so I love to listen.
And that's good. Learning is
that's
good.
Me, yeah.
And most pagans don't have a problem sharing information about paganism, whatever their path is. They don't have a problem with sharing it, but you won't see them coming into a place and going, hey, I'm Druid and this is what we need to do, and shoving their religion in your face.
Or come banging on your door, waving the pagan, book at you,
I had a friend. She told me that I guess some Jehovah's Witnesses came to her door. She let them in. And on the middle of her coffee table, there was this big, huge vibrator. It didn't stay long.
I had when I was a kid, my parents weren't home, and I saw the Jehovah's Witnesses coming down the street, and I had a really well-trained dog. My Cocker Spaniel was trained perfectly. I worked with that dog every day from when I got her, and I put her up on the coffee table. I had her lay down, and I put ketchup on her.
Oh my God.
And I got one of the knives and I put ketchup on it, and they knocked on the door, and I put ketchup on myself, and then they knocked on the door, and I opened the door, and I got the knife in my hand, and I was like, oh yeah, you can come in. And now the dog stayed exactly where she was supposed to, and she looked dead, right? They took one step into the house and went, oh my God, and they ran.
I had some knock on my door.
I ended up getting ketchup on the floor. My mom's like, why is there ketchup on the floor? I'm like, I had a sandwich. But yeah, dog wasn't happy because I had to give her a bath after that. But it was just so funny.
I hope she wasn't a hot dog.
Yeah, no, she was a Cocker Spaniel, but and I didn't want her to lick it all off. She licked a little bit of it, but I was like, I'm not cleaning up after you if you eat ketchup.
Yeah, that's a horrid job. You don't want to have to come out.
Yeah. So
no, I had.
He was house trained, but I can understand not being able to control that.
Yeah, I had some Bible bangers show up at my door one day, and they swore them down. They could raise the dead. I mean, they were just all on about it, and I was like, hold on, let me go get my jacket. And they were like, what are you doing? And I'm like, we're going to the cemetery. I got to see this.
Right.
And yeah, they couldn't get out of there fast enough.
When I
take them too literal, yeah, they run the other way. It was hilarious. They ran like their asses was on fire.
When I lived in Lowell, a friend of mine lived 2 doors down from me. Big old pentacle on the door, right? Pentacle wreath. And he was Mantis was a very interesting individual. That was his CB handle was Mantis. His name was Rich. He was about 5'8" maybe, so he was tiny. And he had, like 5 piercings in each eyebrow. He had his nose done. He had his labret done. He had his lip pierced. Tattoos everywhere. Standing there in a martial art gi, because he was a third degree Shaolin black belt in Shaolin Kung Fu, which is what I trained in because he trained me. And Jehovah's Witnesses knocked on his door. You would think with a giant ass pentacle on his door, they wouldn't knock on his door, but they did. And he was like, oh yeah, sure, come in. He's like, you guys want coffee? And they were like sitting there and they're trying to preach to him about everything like they do. And he turned around, he goes, you're wrong, and corrected them. And they're like, how do you know that? He goes, because I was raised Jehovah's Witness. And they were like, oh, because he counted. He goes, "You guys are doing this totally wrong. You should be ashamed of yourselves." So he schooled them, and they left. It was funny. He was raised Jehovah's Witness. Oh, and he had purple hair. He was a very unique individual. He really was.
Yeah, he kept it real.
Yeah, there was no place on him that you could hurt him until he was sitting in front of me on the stairs at his house, and I had really long. I mean, my fingernails were all like, hugely long, and he was sitting in front of me, and I poked him in the back of the neck, and he was like, "Ow!" And I'm like, "I found a spot," and he's like, "What the hell?" I was like, "Sorry." He turned back around. I did it again. He's like, "Ow!" Yeah. 2 days later, he took one of the collie sticks and beat himself in the back of the neck until it numbed that area, and he didn't feel it anymore. I'm like, "You sucked. That was fun."
God.
Yeah, because
Michelle.
in Shaolin Kung Fu, you train your body by beating it so that you don't feel any pain.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a girl kick him dead on. I mean, punted his nuts, and he just stood there and looked at her.
Oh my God.
Now, my friend Rose, who was dating him at the time, flew over everybody's head. All I saw was the bottom of her feet, and she grabbed that girl by her face and pile drived her into the cement. I was like, "Holy crap!" I was like, "I like this girl." And she beat the shit out of that girl in the parking lot. "How dare you kick my man in the nuts?" Oh, she beat the crap out of her. It was awesome.
Not a good idea to do that practice with your girlfriend in the room, apparently.
Well, Rose had been training too, but she didn't bother. She didn't bother with the martial arts. She street fight. She straight out beat the shit out of this girl. Mantis just stood there like, "Yep, I don't have to do a thing." It was good. It was happy memories, That's back when I socialized. I used to hang out at Dunkin's and Tony's restaurant in Lowell, Massachusetts with CBers.
Back in the day when you had people?
Yeah, back in the day when I had people in my life, actually,
Yeah, I know.
Now my tribe is all online and YouTube.
Exactly, me too.
And we're safe here. Nobody's beating the shit out of us.
I wouldn't bet on that. You keep forgetting she is a witch.
Yeah, I can get you from here. No, I've had people ask me they're like, "Come back to Massachusetts," and I'm like, "I can't afford to live in Massachusetts. I couldn't afford renting a box under a bridge in Mass. It's just not going to happen."
Kodi, it's ridiculous. It's so.
I know.
Oh.
I mean, I don't even get $800 a month. There's no way in hell that I can afford to live there.
Are you on disability, hon?
Mm-hmm.
We both are.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have been since 2006.
That's why, there's two reasons I need my son here. One, to help me with stuff. And two, because I can't afford to live on my own even here. And my house is only $525 a month. But I can't do it on my own. I mean, $800, and then you have it, utilities.
You wouldn't be able to. No way. You would have. You wouldn't even have money for food.
No. This house monthly is about $925, all with utilities and everything. And so it's kind of over what I get a month. So he said that he's going to be, him and his friend Hector, they're looking for a place to live, and he wants to move out. And I was like, "You're abandoning me? I can't afford this house." And he's like, "I can't deal with taking care of somebody." He's like, "I'm just not good at it. It's stressing me out. It's making me feel trapped." He's like, "I need to move on with my life and get things done." I'm like, "Okay, I'm fucked." He goes, "I will still give you the $400 a month for my part of the rent."
Mm-hmm. No,
am I here?
Yeah, you're here. He wants to help financially.
Disconnected.
He'll still help me financially. And I was like, "So you're going to help me financially?" He's like, "Of course, for life." So I don't really want to have to take his money. Hopefully the jewelry thing will take off and I'll make enough money that I won't need him to help me as much. You know what I mean?
But do they have Section 8 down there?
They do. And they are not accepting applications because the waiting list is 5 years long.
That's the same here.
Did you just put one in?
They won't accept an application. They are not taking applications for it.
Exactly.
because the waiting list is so long.
Okay.
And then when they do open to applications again, they usually only take a handful of people. And, you've got to be like there the second they open it, It's like the blue box things on goodwill.com. If you don't
And
get it in the first 2 minutes, and we're poor. We have rotten internet. So,
Well, my internet's actually pretty good, but families with kids get priority with that, which I'm all for, because no child should be homeless.
Right.
I mean, or in a bad living situation that could be improved upon if they get Section 8. So I have no problem with that. It's just the avenues. I have tried looking everywhere, believe me. And I mean, assisted living places for people that are disabled start off, the worst ones, the ones that are crappy, start off at $1,500 a month.
Wow.
Here they do a sliding scale, but 95+% of the places that take that, you have to be 55 or older to get in.
Yeah.
We have one place here, and it's these little studio apartment things out on the west side of town. That's the only place for people under 55. The other half dozen or better places for low income, you have to be over 55. And part of the reason they've done that is because we're in the boomer era of seniors hitting 65, and they don't have the space.
But you live with your sister, right? Or your sister lives with you?
Well, we coexist here. We co-own.
Yeah.
It's a double wide trailer that we both own.
Mm-hmm.
And then we split all the bills.
Oh.
So, I mean, I feel bad because it should be me helping my kid. You know what I mean? I'm the mom. I should be helping my kid. And instead, it will be him helping me. And
You're right back. I got to pee again.
Guilt.
Old
You know
steroids.
what I mean? So guilty about that. And like, I'm a horrible parent.
You're not a horrible parent. You're not.
But I must have raised him right if he's going to help me, right? At least he's not walking away like, fuck you. And the only things that I cannot do in this house is put my dog out and do my laundry.
Mm-hmm.
Until I can get the prosthetic working, like my leg got another one of those fluid pocket things, so I'm trying to heal that up. But
again,
yeah, every time it heals up and I start wrapping it, I get another one. I'm getting to the point where I'm just going to say screw it. I'm going to wrap it and do it anyway, because this is ridiculous. It's been a year. I should be in my permanent leg by now instead of in this one. And I'm not, and it's driving me crazy. And the wheelchair, I can't get the wheelchair through the door to get to the back door, because we have like a solid back door, and then like they built an addition onto the back of the house for the laundry, like a laundry room.
Yeah.
But the washer and dryer stick out 4 inches from the door frame.
I see, yeah.
Because when they built it, they didn't take into consideration that you have hoses and tubes,
Mm-hmm.
so you can't put the utilities against the wall.
Right.
So I can't get the wheelchair through there. I would be able to put the dog out if I could, because my dog will go under the wheelchair, so I could get her in. Although if the door blows open, I'm screwed. But yeah, so I have to, that's the only thing that I can't do. I can cook in a frying pan. I can't really cook in, this is all from the wheelchair. I can't cook in a pot because the wheelchair is too low, but I can see into a frying pan. So I can cook whatever is able to be cooked. And I got a microwave. So I wouldn't starve to death, that's for sure. My neighbor is really sweet, and he would probably, if I got the trash out the front door, he would take it down to the trash can for me. He's been pulling our trash can out to the curb anyway. He's doing it for like 6 different people in the neighborhood. He just goes to everybody's house, like today's garbage day. So, he probably already went to everybody's house and pulled their trash out.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one that goes to the store for me if I need something. And he's trying to get me to smoke pot.
Yeah, he's a piece of work.
Every time I ask him to get me cigarettes, he'll go get them, and he gives me a lecture when he comes back about cigarettes are no good for you, and they're going to kill you, and you should smoke pot instead. And I was like, Donnie, I can't afford the munchies,
Right.
I don't have the money for munchie food. He goes, so then the next time he goes, you need to smoke pot, just ask me, I'll give you some. He goes, I'll bring you some pie for the munchies. And then the last time, he was like, he threw an ice cream on top of all of that and said if I need Xanax to let him know. I'm like,
Oh God.
I'm like, no, I'm okay. Well, he offered the Xanax because I don't sleep that much. So he was like, you look tired. I'm like, well, I only sleep about an hour or two a day. He goes, well, I can give you some Xanax. You'll sleep. But I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm not taking that without a doctor's, supervision. I'm good.
Nope.
So I can get free pot, free pie, free ice cream, and free Xanax. I'm like, as my son heard free pie, and free ice cream, he was like, you need to take that deal.
Just sell the other stuff.
But yeah, I haven't smoked pot in 21 years since I left Massachusetts. Actually.
Yeah, I tried it once when I was like 18. It made me sicker than a dog. So.
Oh, I was a serious stoner when I was a kid. When I was 18, man, you couldn't walk through my apartment. There was piles of weed on every flat surface that you would walk past, and I mean, it was like a forest in the house. It was like piles. And we just
see. That's the thing with me. I don't like anything that alters my thought process.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's why the majority. I mean, a 10-count bottle of Tylenol 3, and I'm good for a year. I use it that little.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I manage my pain with meditation and with stretches and that kind of thing.
Well,
I don't use a bunch of drugs.
Thomas, go boy. Well, I mean, I was 18, and I mean, at one point we smoked so much we smoked ourselves straight. That was pretty freaky. I was like, wait, why do I feel straight right now? And the person that I was with was like, me too. I'm like, did we smoke ourselves straight? And he goes, I think so. I'm like, we need more weed. He goes, yeah, we do. I mean, we had beer cans higher than the fridge. It was definitely a party apartment.
Oh my!
I'm assuming a 420 is that?
Yeah, 420.
Is that like code for it or something?
Yeah.
You can tell how far out of the loop I am of it. I don't even know what the terms are nowadays.
420 was created by a group of kids in California. They met at 420 every day to get high.
Oh.
So it became a thing. And there's actually a petition to make it a holiday. I'm like, what? You want a holiday to smoke pot? Every day. I'm like, it's good to share, Thomas. Good for you. But I mean, I don't have a problem with people who smoke it. I've been offered it quite often since I moved here into this house because of the neighbor. Every time I went over to talk to him, he was smoking. He'd be like, want a hit? I'm like, no. I never pushed it. I did have the one, his roommate is kind of a hardcore drinker. I would call him an alcoholic. He's always drinking, and he's usually drunk. And I was over there and I was talking to Donnie, and he's like, you should smoke and we'll relax you. You'll be fine. I'm like, I'm fine. And he's like, no, you should take something. And he was pushing it. And I'm like, he goes, and you can get Jesus in your life. And I was like, oh, no, he didn't.
Oh, damn.
Donnie knew that I was taken, so he was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
And he actually got up and walked over to me. He's like, you need Jesus. He's like, I'll help you. And he went to hug me. I was like, if you touch me, I'm going to kill you in Donnie's front yard. And I just held up one finger, like training a dog. I went, eh. And he stopped, and Donnie was like, go sit back down. Leave her alone now, because he didn't want blood in his front yard. Don't come at me with an excuse to hug me. No, get away from me, you slimy motherfucker. He was creepy. Creepy. I'm like, shoot. I'm like, Jesus was really cool. Jesus was a really cool hippie carpenter that could do magic. What do you think he really was? I'm saying. So, think about it. But,
Sweet girl.
I was serious. And then when I was 18 and I found out I was pregnant, I quit everything cold.
Oh, you want it there? All right.
I didn't smoke any more weed. I switched to light cigarettes. And that was I needed the cigarettes. I had to move back home with my parents, and I needed the cigarettes. And they talk about cigarettes cause low birth weight. Fuck that. My kids got bigger. Each one got bigger. I'm like, because my
I was a
oldest
tiny little thing when I was born. I was only 6 pounds something, and Mom quit smoking when she was pregnant with me.
well, my oldest was 7 pounds 12 ounces, and then my middle was 8 pounds 15 and a half ounces.
Her biggest
And
was
then
Randy, her first, and he was 11 pounds.
my son was 9 pounds, and I was like, "Could you please tie my tubes now?" The labors got shorter. My daughter, my oldest, I was in labor for 72 hours with her.
Damn.
And then with my middle, it was 48 hours. And then with my son, it was 36. I mean, approximately, So
I was the smallest of Mom's babies, and I was the longest labor. I was 28 hours.
Willow, do you have children?
I miscarried twins when I was a newlywed at 17, and I never conceived again after that. So, nope.
That's sad.
My kids have fur. And
I miscarried before I got pregnant with Kayla, with my middle daughter.
No, these were stillborn. I just entered third trimester.
Ooh.
They were able to determine the sex. So,
see, that's what happened to my mom. My mom, with her first marriage, she was married to a drunk. And
well, basically, the difference between a miscarriage and a stillborn is how far along you are.
I know. She was 8 months pregnant with a baby girl, and he beat the crap out of her, kicking her in the stomach when he was drunk, and she had stillbirth for the baby girl. And then, she wanted to leave, and back then, I mean, we're talking like the 30s, I guess, 40s. You don't do that. That causes a big scandal. That you stay with your husband. It doesn't matter what he does to you.
Right.
And she stayed, and she got pregnant again with twin boys. And she was 7 months pregnant with them when he did the same thing. And he damaged her so badly internally that she couldn't have any more kids.
Oh.
And then she did leave because he almost killed her. So she did leave him, which is good.
Yeah, I don't know what it was back in the day. You were just supposed to be subservient and stick around and blah, blah, blah. And
she wouldn't give me his name. I was like, what was his name? Because where she grew up and where she was living was within my area. Because my mom grew up in Carlisle, Massachusetts.
Oh yeah.
And that's where my grandmother lived and my aunt and uncle lived. And my grandfather actually built, at the time, almost all the houses that were on that street. My grandfather was into construction and all that, and he literally designed and built all of the houses on that street.
Oh wow.
Yeah, third grade education. Back then you could do that. You could self-educate and learn how to do something. These days you got to have 1 million degrees to throw French fries in a bin,
Yeah.
But so I asked her when I found this out. I was 18. I was pregnant because she said that I had options. I had already made my decision at this point. I made my decision before I told my parents I was pregnant. But she sat me down and told me about this first marriage that I knew nothing about. And then told me that, I could give the baby up for adoption. And I'm adopted. I know what the mentality is that you go through knowing that you were given away,
yeah, even if you get in a good home, it still screws with your head.
It's still there. It's like, why was I not wanted by by the person that carried me, or the family, anybody in the family? Why, it's a mind fuck. It is. And I wouldn't do that to a child.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there was the abortion option, which I had debated and said no. So I had already made my decision. My mom didn't like my decision, but it wasn't.
They usually don't.
Yeah, it wasn't my mom's decision. So, but I asked, I said, so what was this guy's name that you were married to? And she goes, I'm not telling you that. I'm like, why? She goes, because you'll hunt him down and hurt him. I'm like, yes, I will. That was the plan.
He deserves to be hurt.
And I was going to find him. If he was still alive, he was not going to be after I was done. I mean, my father backhanded my mom when he was trying to kill me one day. Yeah, he was trying to choke me. And she finally realized that he was the one instigating all of these violent acts that we ended up in. So she grabbed his arm and was trying to get his hand off my throat. And he went to shrug her off, and he threw his arm back and he caught her right in the crease of her neck. And she went flying. And since he released me, I knocked the other hand off and punched him in the face and knocked him on his ass. I said, you ever do that to my mother again, I'll kill you. And that was the end of that. So that's why a few years later, she wouldn't tell me because I was 16 when that happened.
Kodi, have you ever looked for your real parents?
Mm-mm.
No.
Nah.
Some people are fine with that. Not everybody has to go on, who do you think you are?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind knowing, but I'm not gonna make I mean, at one point, I did put my name up on those adoption sites where you can put your information if someone's looking for you.
Yeah.
And I got nothing, But at the time, I mean, I was born in 1969. So, I mean, we had a war going on and that whole, I might not come back, baby, type of bullshit.
Yep.
So, or it was, hey, sailor, want to buy a girl a drink? Whatever the situation was, they felt that they couldn't take care of me. Now, whether it was the girl that was too young, whether it was someone in a wealthy family that they didn't want the stigma of being unwed, whatever, whether it wasn't their choice and they were just dominated by their family.
Yeah.
You just don't know. There's so many variables to the circumstances that could bring about giving up a child.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I mean, and if they were from like a family or they're doing well now, I don't want them thinking that I hunted them down to get money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that doesn't make for a happy family either.
No.
So I just,
It was just.
I know I'm my parents' kid. I look so much like both of them that there's no.
I am definitely nothing like either one of my parents. My mom tried so hard to make me a girly girl. Every day at church, she dresses in little patent leather shoes, and she'd do my hair in those ringlet things. I had
the sausage curls.
Yeah, the big, soup cans in my hair. I couldn't sleep like that. What the hell?
Mom went through that. Yeah, with her mom, and she was a tomboy too. And she's like, hair fuck no.
The hair things with the balls on them that every time they put them on, they'd crack you in the head.
Mm-hmm.
Those. I used to hide them.
Yeah, Mom used to put those things in my hair, and I was like, Mom, I want my hair cut. And she said, why? And she said, because I don't want those in my hair. I'm getting tired of getting whacked by them. And she said, so what do you want? And I said, Dorothy Hamill haircut.
Sadly,
Okay.
from my mom was not happy that I would rather be running around in the woods, playing in the woods, climbing trees, and getting dirty, and playing kickball, and hanging out and stuff like that. She wanted me to be girly. And
I had my girly things about me, but I didn't play with dolls as a kid. I mean, I collect dolls now, but I didn't play with them when I was a kid. Give me a Tonka truck. I had a Kenner ambulance, which was my all-time favorite toy ever. I would love to get another one just to have it for, memories. But trying to find them is like pulling teeth. And if they show up on eBay, they want a fucking fortune for them.
Well, I mean, when I was a kid, I had hair down on my butt. It was actually past my butt. And my mom got tired of brushing it. So we went I was 11, which I could brush my own hair at that point, but I don't know why she decided I needed my hair cut shorter. So I said, well, if I'm going to get my hair cut, at the time, it was Farrah Fawcett was the thing, the Farrah Fawcett feathered hair was the thing.
Yeah.
Now I had natural curly hair. So how this was going to work, I didn't know. But that's what I wanted. So my mom came in and I told the woman what I wanted. My mom said, do you know how to cut naturally curly hair? Because there is a trick to it.
Yeah.
And the woman was like, yes, absolutely. Yeah. She cut the back of my hair this short from being down past my ass.
Oh my God.
And it put my hair into such shock that now the whole section of my hair always breaks, the split ends, and it frizzes no matter what I put in it. It frizzes. And yeah, she fucked up my hair. I was pissed. She cut my hair way too short. I looked like a boy. And she did feather the front. But yeah, that lasted 30 seconds. I walked out the door and my hair was like, bing, so.
Yeah.
I used to try everything to straighten my hair. Everything. I tried a regular perm to straighten it. Then I tried an ethnic straightening perm, like for Black people hair, because it's a stronger, different chemical. That burned my skin, and it straightened my hair for like 4 days. And then ping, I'm like, So I finally gave up. I was like, screw it. So I just put it in a ponytail. But I mean, now it's kind of straight because it's longer. Because like, But
It's always interesting. People with curly hair want straight hair, and people with straight hair want curly hair.
Yeah.
I was always perfectly happy with my straight hair because if I wanted to put curl in it, I could, and then let it go. You know.
well, you know what? You know what was funny is that I went to work one day and I had just washed my hair and I just brush through it and shake it out and I'm done. I'm going. And by the time I got to work, it had dried. Now I hadn't touched it yet, so it hadn't frizzed because my hair is very rebellious. No, it doesn't, Tina. It does not, Farah. But
It doesn't farrow well.
yeah. But when I got there, everybody was like, "Oh my god, did you get a perm?" And I'm like, "No." And they're like, "You're kidding, right? You got a perm?" And I'm like, "No." Because I had perfect spiral curls. You know how everybody was paying for those spiral curl perms and they're costing people like $120?
Yeah.
Well, my hair does
I
that
had the
naturally.
kit to do them at home. Yeah.
My hair does that naturally.
Yeah. So did Mom's. And then as she got older, the curls relaxed because she had such thick hair. And it
Really
she always kept her hair really short, and it would have a natural wave thing going on in it, like the Marcel waves of the 20s. And hers did that naturally, and people were just insanely jealous over her waves.
Yeah.
And she was like, "They're just kind of there. I just rush through it and go." And
But see,
it just fall that way.
as soon as I touched my hair, it would poof. And I mean,
Yeah.
John used to call it my foofadoo. He called my hair my foofadoo. And I was like, "I'm just going to cut it." And he goes, "I will smack you in the back of the head if you cut your hair." So even now, he died a year and a half ago almost. I wouldn't cut my hair because I would get a ghost smack in the back of my head. He'd be like, "No, grow back, whack." You know?
No man ever told me how I was going to wear my hair, how I was going to dress, anything.
Well, he didn't. I could have cut it, you know what I mean? But he loved it
I
long.
know.
And it's just hair.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You don't tell me how I'm going to take care of my body.
He told me one day that he was going to shave his head, and I was like, "You better not." The man had gorgeous hair at the time. I mean, oh my God. Grabbing him by his hair was one of my happiest things to do.
My ex, he didn't take care of his hair. He was very lackluster in the self-hygiene kind of thing. He decided he wanted a butch, and I couldn't get the razor fast enough. Yeah, I know. And it was gone.
He was complaining because we'd only been here a little while, and we got here on Mother's Day of 2000. And so, after I got the job at Walmart, it was probably about 7 months after we had moved here. And he was like, "My hair is too long. It's bothering me. It's making me sweaty." I was like, "I don't care." I'm like, "No."
Mine's doing that right now.
He's like, "I'm going to shave my head." I'm like, "No, you're not." And he goes, "Well, what?" I said, "If you shave your head, I'm going to shave my head." And he goes, "Fine, I won't shave my head." I'm like, I came home 2 days later. I had to work really late at Walmart because I was watching somebody. I worked loss prevention at Walmart. So I was following a shoplifter, and then I made the stop, and then I had to do paperwork, call the cops, blah, 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 make the kid cry, that kind of thing. I loved that job. And I come home, and he meets me outside with a Pepsi at 2:00 in the morning. I'm like,
yeah, what'd you do, dude?
That's exactly what I said, is what did you do? And he was wearing a baseball hat at night. I'm like, "What did you do?" He goes, "I didn't do anything. What are you talking about?" I'm like, "What? Take off the hat." He goes, "No." I'm like, "Take the hat off, or I'm tackling you in the driveway and taking it off." Like, I'm still.
And I could fucking see you doing it too.
I was like, "I'm still in work mode and I have handcuffs. I can make you take the hat off." And he takes the hat off, and he had shaved his head. I mean, slick, bald. There was not even stubble on his head. I'm like,
he went chrome dome.
"Yep." I'm like, "You're sleeping on the couch." He's like, "No." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm not sleeping next to the bald guy." Mm-mm. I mean, it's one thing if I met him and he was like that, I would have been already adjusted, but I liked his long hair. And I was like, "You promised me you wouldn't do this, and you did it. You're on the couch, dude." He's like, "Oh, come on." I was like, "No." I was like, "Go ahead and try and get in the bed, see what happens." And he did, and I kicked him, and he landed on the floor. So, yeah. So he slept on the couch until that hair started coming in. And once he had like almost a military thing going on, I let him come back in the bed.
Alrighty, guys, I'm gonna have to say good night.
Aww.
It's been awesome.
We had fun, Susanna. And seriously, anytime you have any questions or you're curious about anything with the religion or anything, just message us or come back on here or whatever when I'm live. I have no problem with that.
Ditto.
Like I said, I've always been interested. It fascinates me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's better to be inquisitive and learn about it than to just make snap judgments or, listen to the stigma that goes with it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
No,
So,
I'm not that personality.
yeah. I mean, people of our faith and beliefs appreciate it when people ask us because we get so much flack for it and so much ignorant people coming at us about stupid shit like sacrifices. And I was like, look, we have alternatives to using babies to make a flying ointment. Okay, so relax. We're not killing babies.
No, I didn't believe that. That's far-fetched, seriously.
Yeah. So, I mean, but we do get people, I mean, like, there's people that came at me telling me I was going to hell. I was horrible. I had no love in my life. I'm like, I get loved really well every night. I'm good.
Right. No.
I mean, I had a 16-year-old say, how can you live your life without love in it? And I'm like, you're 16. You haven't even gotten your dick wet yet. You should not be talking to me about love. Go away. Yeah.
No. See, no. Those people need to look in the mirror and they're lacking love.
Yeah.
No.
So, yeah. But I had fun, Susanna. Thank you for coming on my panel.
No, it was awesome. I'll definitely come again.
Yay.
Good night,
Yes,
girl.
please do.
Good night. And tell Tina we said hi.
I will. And Willow, I definitely want my wand.
Contact me.
I will. Good night.
We'll get her done.
Good night.
Good night, honey.
That was fun.
Yes.
I hate that. When people get upset because their kid looks like the parent that they just got rid of and they take it out on you because you look like them, that's not right.
No, it's not.
I mean, my girls look like me and my son looks like his father, which he won't admit to, but he does.
Well, you consented to have sex with the jackass, which means that if a baby is created from you and the jackass and you kick the jackass out, the baby's still going to be there. You love the baby. You don't blame it on the baby.
And that happens so often.
It does.
And
it doesn't make sense at all. It's definitely something went in their brain because logically you just don't do that.
Thomas, are you leaving?
Are you going to run out on us at 2?
Thomas got high.
Come on here and visit?
Thomas smoked a spliff. He wants to go to sleep now.
That or he's going to go raid the kitchen.
Smoke a spliff, man. We smoke 100 spliff a day. I used to hang out with Jamaicans. The Jamaicans have good weed.
I barely understood what you were saying. Something about a slip, and I'm like, that's clothes, isn't it?
Spliff. 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 It's another word for a joint.
Oh. I thought you said slip, like a skirt slip.
Oh, good. I'm glad you're not leaving. Yeah, Christy, just in case her mom is spying on her. She doesn't want to say too much. That's funny.
One of y'all going to come on and visit with us?
I probably won't keep it going too much longer. It's been 3.5 hours.
Can't say I didn't try.
But I'll put the link in there just in case.
Okay. I must have major lag because it's still not showing up. I just got Christy's emoji run. There it is. Yeah, I definitely got lag on my YouTube chat. Gonna reload it real quick. That helps.
That's terrible, Christy. I'm sorry. But we love you, Christy. We don't care who you look like.
Exactly. Or what you look like.
Hi, Thomas.
Hey, Thomas. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine.
Good.
Glad to hear your inspection went well.
Yeah.
Oh, it always does. She goes to us, I don't even know why I come to your house. It's always spotless. I'm like, well, that's what happens. We're clean people.
So do they just do like random inspections there or?
Nah, every 6 months they come through.
Ah, they don't do that
Yeah.
here.
Oh, really?
Mm-mm. The only time you get an inspection is if you're fixing to sell, or you've had like DCSF contacted because your kid's dirty or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, yeah, they don't pay attention to you at all.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, my landlord doesn't even come in the house. We told him about the broken window in the other room, and it's still broken. But my landlord, Jay, he's like always stoned. So how much memory retention he actually has is questionable. But
Oh, dear.
he's a really good landlord, and if I mention something again to him, he will come out here and he'll fix it. But the problem is that because it was the roommates that broke it, it's hi Brad. Brad, being a dick to me is bad for you. Just remember that.
Hi, Brad. Night, Stash.
Good night, Stash. But yeah, he's so laid back and he's very chill. He doesn't make a big deal. But the roommates that we had, the toxic ones, they broke it. Didn't even tell us about it. And when I was talking to my landlord's dad, he said that it would probably cost about $100 to replace the bottom part of that window, and that would get tacked onto my rent. So,
But he doesn't know how to just change the glass out.
It's a thermal double pane window.
Oh.
Yeah. So it has the top part and then the bottom part. So the whole bottom part would have to be fixed.
Yeah.
It's the inside pane, so it's not like there's air coming through. It's the inside pane that got broken, but they never told us they broke it, which is a douchebag move.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when you get the heavy duty clear packing tape and over it, just so you don't have those sharp edges around where the babies can get to them.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm planning on doing is putting tape over it or something. I don't want to block the whole window because
that's why I'm saying heavy duty clear packing tape.
Because I need the natural light for what I'm making my jewelry. So
yeah, the clear tape won't block your light. So
yeah, they broke a lot of stuff in the house, and they stuck one of those like a utility rug, those black utility rugs. They stuck it to the floor. It is adhesed to the floor. We can't get it up. What kind of douchebag move is that in a rented house
that doesn't have your name on it too?
And the rosy door frame, they did a lot of damage here.
Yeah,
but so yeah, the landlord said that they'd break up the payments like over time because he knows my financial situation. So once he has the water fixed and we know how much it is, he'll probably. I'm here permanently. I can't move, so he'll probably do like $10 or $20 a month tacked onto my rent, which is reasonable, But
at least he's not hitting you up for the one lump sum straight away.
No, he's worked with us before, so I've always paid my part of the rent on time, and I made sure when Issa and John were here and they had their part of the rent, Issa was usually short, at least $25 minimal. Usually it was more like 100 on their part. So I always made sure that the landlord knew that my part was paid in full. And every month for this past year that John's been gone, the rent has been paid completely in full every fucking month. I know it does. I don't know how to pay it. And when we rented the other house from him, my son and I were over at a different house. I loved that house. I had my own bathroom. And a walk-in closet. That was nice. But I made sure the rent was paid in full every month then too, So I don't like being short on the rent. Sometimes it happens. When I had my own house and I had to pay a mortgage, that was when John was not being overly responsible, and he kept ending up in jail for stupid shit. And I kept having to bail him out. So if the only money I had was the mortgage payment, that's what I had to use, because there would be something that he needed to fix, like the car would be broken or whatever. There would be some reason that I needed him out. It wasn't emotional, it was logical type of reasoning, So I got behind on my mortgage a lot.
Well, when we bought this place, we paid for it in full, but it's in a park, so we have to pay lot rent every month.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've never been late. I mean, even through COVID, with their offices closed, they've got a Dropbox, and we just put it in an envelope and put it in the Dropbox.
Yeah, my landlord or his dad shows up and gets the rent in cash.
Yeah.
He was really late picking it up this month. I still had it here. My rent's usually due on the 5th, or by the 5th. My son didn't have a ride to go get it until the 7th, so I told the landlord I'd have rent complete on the 7th. And I told him that on the 5th, because if you don't tell him by the 5th what's going on, he charges you $25 because you're late. And he didn't even show up until the 10th. I'm like, dude, I'm poor and I have $525 in cash sitting here. I want to go shopping. You know, like, come get your rent.
It's making my hands itchy. I want to go and spend it.
Yeah, I did. It's so bad.
I could get so much good stuff with that money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Love
I mean, I miss the trailer that we had. The trailer we had was nice, but we didn't have the money to maintain it. And if you don't maintain a trailer, it falls apart. And ours was falling apart. Plus, I mean, a lot of damage was done when our water heater blew. And our kitchen, utility room, and my walk-in closet, and our bathroom all got flooded. And it's press board. So we had to replace all the floors.
Mm-hmm.
I was not happy. I was not happy at all. So then the roof was leaking, and I was not in a financial, because that was when I couldn't work anymore, and I was trying to get disability. I kept getting denied, and it took like 3 years for me to get. I ended up losing the house in 2010. I was very sad.
Would have been.
I got foreclosed on. Even though it was falling apart, I mean, it was the first house that we got when we came here, you know? And it was almost 4 acres of property. So I loved living out in the boonies in the woods. We had wildlife everywhere. And it was awesome.
Wow. That would have been nice.
Sorry, I had to get up and close my window. It's 39 degrees outside right now.
I mean, we had a group of deer that would bed down in the backyard because I didn't allow any hunting on my property. And I didn't allow them to stand on the edges of my property and hunt. I was like, you know, because I'm going to shoot back at you if you're shooting things on my property. Yeah, one of our neighbors said, hey, you know, I've noticed that. Huh?
Wow.
One of the neighbors asked John, I noticed that, you know, deer come and kind of congregate on your property. Do you mind if I set up a deer blind and go hunting? And he told him, he goes, only if you want to get shot. And he was like, what? He goes, my girl will shoot your ass. He's like, if you're going to shoot deer, you better do it away from our property. He goes, well, if I use a bow and arrow, she won't know. He goes, oh, yes, and she will stab you in the eye with an arrow. Trust me. And I would, too. Hell yeah. So, I mean, I don't have a problem with people who hunt because they need food.
Oh, yeah.
But this guy had money. He can afford to buy food. I mean, just because you want to feel like a man and kill something, you're not doing it on my property, you know?
Exactly.
So, I mean, there's no reason to kill something if you don't need it to survive.
Well,
I mean,
that's it.
if I had to go into survivalist mode, which with one leg, that would be difficult at this point, but if I had to go into survivalist, if I was stuck out in the mountains or something, Bambi's dead, okay, because I'm going to eat.
Yeah, it's one thing to do it for sustainable living. It's another thing entirely just to be a trophy hunter. I have zero tolerance for trophy hunters.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, the only thing that I can agree with trophy hunters is if they donate all the meat. Because we have things in South Carolina where I am that you can take the deer to a processing center. They will give you the antlers, and the rest of the deer will be processed, and the leather will go to somebody that can use it. You know, and all of the meat will go to families that are, you know, poor families. So that I appreciate, but
yeah. At least you know the animal's not going to go to waste.
Right.
It's just not going to lay there in the paddock, just like decomposing.
And the whole thing, the thing about, oh, well, you know, we have to trim down the deer population. Well, you know what, you fuckers, if you didn't overbuild into their territory and you didn't kill their natural predators, you wouldn't have to do that because nature regulates itself.
Exactly.
Amen.
Because of humans, there's a problem. You know, stop building and start restructuring the houses and buildings that are abandoned. Stop building new shit. Fix the stuff that's broken.
That's it.
I get a little upset.
Me too.
I'm kind of opinionated about it.
I'm trying to behave.
But that's why I won't buy pizza from Papa John's, and I won't do anything with GoDaddy, because I know for a fact that the people that owned them, I don't know if they still own them, but the people that originally owned them were trophy hunters.
Mhm.
So I will not support their businesses in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, no.
Nope.
Nope.
So,
Agreed.
and that's my right to do that. My dad used to hunt, and we never had any venison in our house. I don't know what the hell he did with the deer, but he used to go deer hunting, and I'm like, why? You have $1 million in the fucking bank. Why are you hunting? And he never brought the antlers home either. So I don't know what he did with that. I'm like, you just want to go kill something. That's wrong. And I blew up about it when I was like 8 years old. I was freaked out because I had just watched Bambi. And
well, there's people that will kill a deer just for the backstrap and leave the rest to rot.
Are you kidding?
So my dad,
I'm not kidding at all.
Yeah.
They just want the backstrap. They cut the backstrap out, the rest of it, the hide, all the rest of the meat, antlers, everything just lays there and rots.
What?
Because they got a hankering for a backstrap.
Yeah.
What
and you can't buy it in the grocery store.
So
wow.
It's pathetic.
My dad, when I blew up at him, he stopped hunting. He still went to ranges that used the deer form, like the fake one, and they'd have them moving around, and you could still. He used to do that. He actually helped my cousin Peter with his aim and everything. My cousin ended up being a sharpshooter in the Marines, thanks to my dad working with him with the rifle. But yeah, he wouldn't actually hunt anymore. Because I freaked out, and he shot a bunny in our yard when I was like 5, and I freaked out and made him. I made him bury it. We buried it in the backyard, and I put a little flower on its grave. Yeah, he didn't shoot anything from the house again either. My mom was like, "You need to do something about this," because she's hysterical. I also didn't talk to him for 2 weeks after that.
Oh, my dad, he was mowing the field next door and hit a bunny nest. I went batshit. Because I had asked him, let me walk it before you mow it and make sure there ain't no bunnies.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't let me. He wanted to get it done. And yeah, I ended up taking care of those injured babies and burying the ones that didn't make it. And he never didn't wait on me to do that again.
So he learned his lesson then.
Well, I would intentionally wait until the bunnies had just had their milk and put them on his tummy so they could pee all over him.
We're vicious.
My cockatiel loved to sit on his shoulder, pluck the hair out of his ears, and then jump down on his very happily rotund little belly and drop a big shit right on his gut. His puppy, a dachshund. I didn't even have to train that one. That one just knew. Get on daddy's tummy and let her rip. And she would just cover him in pee. I mean, his karma, yeah. After that, his karma, it played its own hand. I didn't have to do a thing. If a critter came in the house and it had to take a dump or take a piss, it'd jump right up on dad and do it. It was freaking hilarious. When I was a baby, he'd nap in his recliner with me, in the crease of his legs, and yeah, I'd overload that diaper with everything in me, and yeah, he'd need a shower. His chair would need cleaned, and yeah. So I started very young, as in day one.
Oh well.
So how are things in Australia, Thomas?
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
We don't have to go around with masks anymore.
Oh,
so that's a good start.
Well, you guys stayed locked down better than the U.S. The U.S. was gotta open. And yeah, there's states that are still struggling. States that have totally went open and their numbers have skyrocketed.
Yeah.
They started opening up the states and dropping the mask ordinances and stuff like that when like 10% of the population had been vaccinated.
Yeah.
What part of stupid is that, Even right now, we haven't hit 30% of the population being vaccinated yet.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tina's telling me it's bedtime.
I was going to say, we've got to get going, ladies. I got a mate over, and I've got my cousin turning up to pick up me old fridge and me old barbecue.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for popping in.
Now, is it
That's all
daytime?
right.
Is it daytime where you are, Thomas?
Yeah.
Okay.
Afternoon,
Well, you.
I think, where he's at.
I'll go outside. Yeah, at the front.
I didn't know whether to tell you to have a good day or good night because I didn't know which it was there.
It's nearly 1 in the afternoon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just after lunch.
Yeah, just after lunch. And it's not a real good day. It's pretty cloudy.
Yeah, ours was off and on today because we got snow Monday. So.
Oh.
Well, I hope you have a good day.
It
Thank
melted
you.
by noon, so.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't that cold.
About 2.5 inches of wet, floppy stuff, and yeah, it was melting
Sounds like a
before it
bad
even hit the
day.
ground.
Good to
All right,
meet you.
ladies.
Bye, Thomas.
Bye.
See you. Good chatting with you again.
Yep,
And
you
you're welcome
too.
anytime.
All right, bye.
Bye. Tina. Well,
She's
I don't see
weatherheading you because you can tell by the expression on your face your back is hurting.
Yeah, it is. Because I've been sitting here all day.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also Tina's bedtime.
Well, Tina,
Because
you can go to bed. Yeah.
She was up way too late the other night, and then she didn't feel good the next day, so she needs to go to bed too.
I didn't wake up till noon today, so I'm good probably until close to dawn. That and on steroids, so yeah, it might be noon before I get to bed. Who knows?
But it is going on, well, 3 hours and 45 minutes. So
Yeah, you're hitting your limits here on staying vertical.
yeah.
You need to lay down, stretch out, and relax your back.
But I appreciate everybody coming in and chatting, and I appreciate everybody in the chat. I love you guys. And to the lurkers, if I like you, thank you. If I don't, well, at least I have wash hours out of you.
Yeah.
Just saying, because you
Just
don't know
keeping it
who's
real.
I don't know who's lurking. It might be somebody I don't like. So
Yeah, I don't have that part up, so I don't know how many are in the chat.
5.
I count as one of them.
Yeah, we have 5 people. You're welcome, Thomas. Thank you for coming on. You're welcome anytime on my panel, Thomas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have fun with your buds. Your mates.
Yes.
Have fun with your mates.
Your mate and your cousin. Have a good day. Tim is like, get off the air. Shut it down, Cody. Bye, Tim. I love you. All right,
Bye,
guys.
Tim and Tina. Love you both. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Stay safe. Be
Have a good
good,
night.
but not too good.